Yeah. Let's see. Almost there. Woo. All right. I think we're up on Instagram as well. Fingers crossed. Oh, why does that say stream ending? Okay, stream is beginning on Instagram. What the heck is that? Crazy thing. There we go. Sort of. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's just give it a try. Heck with it. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. This guy, maybe that does it. Okay, that'll start it up at least. I think. Oh gosh, yeah, that's really good. That's terrific. That's a terrific shot. Hi everybody. And hello on Instagram, where I'm huge apparently on your phone. I don't quite know why. Um, just everything wants to go cattywampus. That's what happens when I go on the road. I go on the road and my computer goes, he's away. Let's attack. Nicholas, thank you for liking the stream. In spite of itself. And let's see, vertical has this screen, and then I can take this and I can scroll it down a little bit so it's not too out of control, so that I can see part of myself and actually gesture as opposed to being. That's a little better. Hi, there you go. If you're watching on Instagram, you know what the heck's going on. Everywhere else, you're like, what? He's doing stuff and it's accomplishing nothing. Welcome to my. Oh, quit it. No sound. Quit it. I see audio coming out. By God, stop it. Was there no audio on the song? Was that what at the opening? I'm sorry. I was fixing so much other shit. I don't know. I apologize. Hi. Usually there's a theme song. I will fix that. Apparently, Streamlabs OBS just decided to die this morning or this afternoon while I was busy doing other things, and so I'm back on regular OBS, and it's mad at me for leaving me. For I guess. It's upset ever so. How can my audio be low? It's literally going into the red. I don't trust any of these meters. By God. And yes, hi. My hair is very big and flowy today. I appreciate you noticing. Thanks. And hello, chat room. Let's see if my chat thing works at all. Let's because it's all back to the old screens. It'd be trend news. Is that one? Yeah, there you are. Look at you guys. Look at that. Excellent. Hi. Audio's fine. Oh, good. Hit that like for me. Even though there's not a lot to like right now about the show. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. I'm a little under the weather, as you can tell from my nasally tone. And by God, there's so much to cover. I can't take a break. I cannot. It's too funny. Let's go. I think we're very Greg Kelly heavy today because hilarity. And then of course James Biden spoke to the House committee or what have you, and then there's still fallout from the Alexander Smirnoff arrest and detainment, and the truth coming out about that goofball. And apparently Greg Gutfeld is thinking of moving to Florida. To wit, I think there was I have one of those traffic cams in New York that I will watch sometimes, to watch it burn down because New York no longer exists. It's like Portland. I used to watch one in Portland, but now there's just a big giant fucking crater where that used to be. And I look at the New York one, and it's one of the few with audio on it, and I can just hear this kind of like collective don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, but like, with a New York accent really loud by thousands of people. Yeah, boo, fuckity hoo. Now, let's see if my other screen works real quick. Just to go over here. Hey, look at that. There's Comer. Look at that. It will shock no one that these assholes are still trying to milk the tit of this dead cow and figure out a way to make, like salvage the fact that Jim Jordan literally was saying this is the biggest piece of evidence that we have. Oh, And to that end, chat room, if I may, before I grab the lovely clips that our dear friend CSL has picked up for me when he sifts through the mountain of horseshit that is the regular news. I also watch a good portion of these things, and there was a video of it was, let's see, good Lord, I watched all the depositions of Trump and Don Jr. from a while back. Oh, I think I put it in my watch later history because that's the way I do it. But it was Jim Jordan came out and tried to salvage this thing, and I have to say, let's see where this. I'll find it. Yeah, there it is. You prick, you. Here it is. I'll grab this right here and pause it. Okay. This is so this is him. This is straight. Whoops, wrong button. This is him coming straight out of the I guess maybe the James Biden hearing or one of the other ones, or on his way into it or something shit like that. And this is him talking about the Alexander Smirnov arrest and the fact that this doesn't matter to their case. I'm fairly certain this is that piece. Hold on one second.
So I said this earlier this morning, but I think you can sort of tell this story in three parts, three chapters. There's before Joe Biden's candidate for president.
This is a story in three parts. Great. Now, I'm very excited about this. Story in three parts. There's before he was a candidate for president, which is like his entire career. Okay.
Time when he is candidate for president.
The time when he is candidate for president. So before it, when he wasn't president, this is two chapters. It's like an ADBC kind of a thing. There's before he was going to run for president, which is his entire life until he runs for president. And then there's the after he's running.
President. And then there's, of course, the things that have happened, the events that have happened while he's been president.
Now, are we going to make a distinction between the time he was in office as vice president, senator, and congressperson, and he wasn't running for president, and that little window, that little troublesome window where he wasn't running for office and was presumed to be retired and therefore had no influence to peddle, and the time he was in office when he, in theory, could have peddled influence, but there's no evidence that he did, and the time that he's president currently, where all the countries, hear me now and listen to me later, all the countries that supposedly have, Biden by the short and curlies and have control over him and are using his son and everything to blackmail him to make them do what they want, are having a really bad time. Literally, China's economy hasn't done this bad since 1993. And that's, by the way, when it was still, like, horrible and hadn't even had a taste of success yet. Right. So all the countries that Joe Biden supposedly is being blackmailed, cajoled, or extorted by are having their worst 3 years on record while he's president. So I don't know what they bought with that influence, but maybe it's, you know what? It's fifth dimensional chess. I don't know. You don't know. It's something down the line. They're saving this. China is going to wait until they've lost $9 trillion in their economy in a 18-month period. They're going to wait till they've lost 9 before they crack open the fucking envelope or the sardine can of compromat that they have. You just wait.
And I think today we're largely going to focus on that pre-candidate time. I call that the
pre-candidate
money, the business, the brand.
Oh, okay. The pre-candidate time and the post-office time. The money, the candidate, the brand. Okay. You can't have a pre-candidate time that includes him being a fucking candidate. Asshole.
That'll be the focus, I think, of today's questioning, specifically relative to James Biden's involvement with CEFC.
Yeah, call him James, because if you say Jim, it reminds people that his name is spelled J-I-M when they call him Jim, and your name is G-Y-M when Jim. So, yeah.
AmeriCorps, there was a big story about that.
Yeah, AmeriCorps, the big Chinese company, the big China money company, AmeriCorps. It's very, it's kind of like the Patriot Act. You know what I mean? They named it AmeriCorps just so you think it was an American. I'm sorry, what? It is an American company. I see. I see. There's no China money at all. We're sure about this. None. I mean, there's got to be some that none. All right. I've just gotten a report that there is no China money in AmeriCorps. It is American to the core, or at least it was, because they apparently gave James Biden a bunch of money to try to get his brother to help them out in theory, and they went out of business because, because the entire brand is influence peddling. Because what? I'm just saying, in the influence peddling business that the Bidens are supposedly doing, their Yelp reviews must be ass.
So we're going to look at all that information, I think, today. I think it's interesting, some of the facts we've already picked up from Mr. Walker, Mr. Bobolinsky.
You mean the guy that said Biden had nothing to do with her business, and the other guy that was fired by the other guy you talked to?
Specifically regarding the Chinese energy company CEFC. It's like that deal doesn't get finalized until Joe Biden shows up at the Four Seasons.
What year would that be? Would that be before he's a candidate, or after he's in office, or both? Also, you have multiple witnesses of that dinner. What was discussed besides how you doing, how's the fishing? Anything at all? Anybody? Has anyone you brought in? Any fucking body? All of them are under oath. All of them have lawyers present. And if they got stuck, they'd have to plead the fifth, I would presume. Any of them. Do any of these motherfuckers, one person, say he sat down and we gave him the prospectus and he thumbed through it and said it looks good and then left? Or took a copy of it with nothing? Hi guys, how's the fishing? I'm headed this way. That was it. As if, and again, what would be the fucking point? What would be the fucking point of him coming by other than are you sure you can get your dad to come by and say stuff? I mean, you know how hard it is to get FaceTime with a former vice president? Jesus Christ, Cristo. I'm still waiting on my meeting with Dan Quayle, which was supposed to happen sometime in the late to early 90s. Hello? Really? I was going to have a meeting with Dick Cheney, but he wanted to shoot me in the face. It was a weird meeting.
Get a drop by and gives a short presentation to all the people there, the 8 people from Chinese executives with CEFC and Hunter Biden and his business partners. So I think we'll dig into those.
He gave a short presentation as he walked by the table and went, hi, how you doing? Good to see you. And that would be after. Also, how about let's start from scratch? First principles, as Elon Musk likes to bullshit about. How about we start with this? Do you think it is heretofore, from this point going forward, probably, but up till this point, is it illegal for U.S. citizens to do business with Chinese companies? Because I would like to discuss MAGA merch with you, if I may. I would also like to discuss some Chinese trademarks that Ivanka Trump got after her dad met with Xi Jinping. I'd also like to talk about a little thing about $17 million magically going into an account in China that Trump didn't admit he had, that it never had more than $700,000 in it fucking ever. It gets $17 million in it right fucking away. He takes $15 million out in cash like a broke motherfucker. Can't even leave it alone. Can't even go, slip that into the trust. We'll get it later. I don't need it right now, obviously, because I'm doing good. Couldn't even let it alone. He had to go like, oh, fuck. We'll get most of it. Put it over here. I'll put it in the white suit. Nope. No, you're not going to. So anybody, because that was, motherfucker, that was during his presidency. That was when Donald Trump was president of the United States. Then let's talk about empty fucking hotel rooms at the old post office. Then let's talk about the empty fucking apartment that Yi Jianming, the head of CEFC, paid for in Trump World Tower across from the fucking UN that he never set foot in, but he paid $5 million to leave it vacant yet full. Hey, how about the fact that the biggest Chinese bank in the world had offices in Trump Tower? They're not linked with the Chinese Communist Party or anything. Why would the biggest bank in China be linked with the Chinese Communist Party? Why would that be a fucking thing? And I'm sure they never invited anybody over as spies and went, the guy's fucking president or whatever, and his family meets.
Those kind of things in today's thing. But we'll also look, some of the other information I think is important too. While Biden's candidate, the lies, the campaign, the rigged election.
The what? Oh, thank you so much for noticing the Steve Martin deep cut, Bruce. Well done.
That's the 51 former intel officials and how that played.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Ah, fuck. I had forgotten all about that, asshole. Holy shit. Thank you for bringing up the 51 intelligence officials who supposedly lied and said this was all Russian disinformation, and the shit about the laptop and all that kind of stuff had all the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation scheme, because it fucking did. If any group of people, any single group of people has been vindicated in the last couple of weeks, for fuck's sake, it has been those guys. Those guys who wrote that op-ed. They literally wrote this thing like this reeks of a Russian disinformation campaign. And then Alexander Smirnov gets fucking busted, and that's exactly what it was. Up till like September, he had been talking directly to these motherfuckers. They were feeding him new talking points. All the talking points that they based their shit on, that they've been attacking Biden with the entire time, all through 2020, all that stuff came from this dumb motherfucker, came from this guy, and during the fucking Trump administration. Oh, it's so nice to be right.
And then, of course, there's the...
Then how can I... So then there's the thing where the guy knew that his wrestling students were getting sexually assaulted by the head coach, and he didn't do anything, and he looked... No, that's not what... We're not going to talk about that today. That's not going to come up.
While he's been president, I think that is the obstruction, the cover-up, and, of course, the sweetheart deal.
The corruption, the cover-up, the sweetheart deal. Okay, asshole, let me tell you something. You should have taken the sweetheart deal. Let's just say, because Hunter Biden's filings since the sweetheart deal was collapsed by Republican pressure is putting the DOJ people who are investigating him into a position where they have to admit fruit of the poison tree, from the bullshit laptop stuff that was posted online, stolen information that they have no source for, they have no metadata for it. So ultimately, they're going to have to adjudicate this shit. They were better off. Taking the deal. They would have gotten more from Hunter Biden than if they'd had to actually take it to court. I'm dead serious. Like recently, I'll see if I can find it. The Hunter Biden filing. Let's see. Files. Let's see. That's new. Hold on one second. Boom. Yeah. So he fired this motion to dismiss. And where is it, you fucker? And to Weiss, Weiss said he was denied special counsel. Okay, all this kind of stuff. I want in the court documents. Hunter Biden's legal counsel alleged IRS whistleblowers Shapley and Ziegler, as agents of the government, engaged in a public media campaign to force prosecutors' hands to bring charges against Biden, and federal agencies did not prevent the disclosure of Hunter Biden's confidential tax information, violating Biden's due process of law. So he can't get a fair trial, and he can't get a jury that doesn't know about it. That's going to be a hard argument because they released it ahead of time. It's the irony is that it's let's see, there was another one. Hold on. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. Oh, God, I fucking love all this shit. All right, this is the most recent one. I got to find the actual piece of paperwork on it, but here, let me show you something real quick. This is, here you go. This was, I mean, this is old. This is like, some of this is older news or whatever, but this just came up, whatever. The acclaimed CBS reporter who has investigated the Hunter Biden laptop scandal since before she was fired last week had her personal files seized by the network in an unprecedented move, posted Thursday. This is, when is this one? Oh, shit, this is 2 hours ago. Catherine Herridge, who is the middle of a First Amendment case being closely watched by journalists nationwide, was among 20 NBC staff or CBS news staffers let go as part of a larger purge of hundreds of employees. Her firing stunned coworkers, but the network's decision to hold her personal materials along with her work laptop, where she may have other confidential info, has left many staffers shaken, according to insiders. This is like kind of an ongoing part. It's extraordinary. Sources said the network boxed up all her personal belongings except for Harris' notes and files and informed her that it would decide what, if anything, would be returned to her. They never seize documents when you're let go. A second source close to the network said they want to see what damaging documents she has. A CBS spokesperson pushed back. We have respected her request to not go through files, and out of our concern for confidential sources, the office she occupied has remained secure since her departure. So what they're not doing is giving her shit so she can go and run off and take the sources she got using the rest of it. And it's, oh my God, he's shirtless on a couch. What more evidence do you need? The journalist may soon be held in contempt of court for not divulging her source for an investigative piece she penned in 2017 when she worked for Fox News. She could be ordered to pay personal fines, total as much as $5,000 a day. There's blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Post, Herridge encountered roadblocks from higher ups over her Hunter Biden coverage, also clashed with CBS executives. This is one of the reasons she was fired, because she was Turley, blah, blah, blah. So they have her stuff. Let me show you this other thing. This is the main one. Oh, this is, by the way, this is, if you'll recall, I covered this when it came out. This is, I think, the thing that sums up the absolute slather of bullshit around the Hunter Biden laptop story, which is, here's how the Post analyzed Hunter Biden's laptop. If you haven't seen my video on this, I break this whole fucking article down. Here's how the Post analyzed Hunter Biden's laptop. Not files allegedly from, not the piece of machinery, not a hard drive presumed to be. The hard drive, which they got from Maxey or whatever the fuck his name is. 2 experts confirmed the veracity of thousands of emails. Yeah, Hunter Biden had a bunch of fucking Bed Bath & Beyond coupons on his fucking, junk emails. Seriously. And you know how they did it? He had this junk email on his included in the files, and on that day they sent out that junk email. Is it that junk email? Did it get there from them to this hard drive, or was it copied and put someplace else? We don't know. We just know that email is is on his hard drive, and they at one point sent it out. That's seriously fucking dumb. But say a thorough examination was stymied by missing data. Hey, fuckwad. Guess what? It was stymied by a lack of laptop, because you didn't even look at a laptop. You looked at the fucking hard drive. Thousands of emails purportedly. Who's purporting this? Yeah, Jack Maxey, that's who. And Rudy Giuliani. President Biden's son are authentic. Let's see. From laptop, President Biden's son are authentic communications that can be verified through cryptographic signatures from Google and other technology companies. Say 2 experts who examined the data at the request of the Washington Post. Are authentic communications. Now, are they to and from the actual people involved? I don't know, but they're authentically sent from one place to another, according to sort of. Were they sent from something else to this laptop? Don't know. They were emailed from one place to another. That's what we know. So anybody who was faking this shit and stacking it together and creating this fucking hard drive, all they had to do was send it from one IP address to another IP address that's faked, and then copy, recopy, and then it doesn't. Right. Verifiable emails are a small fraction of the 217 gigabytes of data provided the Post on a portable hard drive by Republican activist Jack Maxey. Laptop, anywhere. The verifiable emails, the ones you can actually fucking verify, are a small fraction of the two. That means the vast majority of 217 gigabytes worth of data is unverifiable. 217 gigabytes. Fuck off. I don't want to. I did a whole video on this. We dealt with this. So let's see if I can find. I'll go back to this asshole. Hold on. So let's see. That's the because that CBS Files thing just came out. Let's see. Oh, sorry. It's his file for discovery, which is just fucking fascinating. Like, yeah, this fucking glorious. Okay, this is the one where it was Sawdust, and I don't know if you know this. Here, I'll show you. This is super fucking fun. First, I want to get the actual. Okay, Tuesday. There you go. All right. So this, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, is Mr. Biden, that'd be Hunter's, reply in support of his motion to compel discovery and set discovery deadlines. I want to know where this shit came from and how you got it. Seems normal, right? In a criminal case. Again, if these motherfuckers had just taken the sweetheart deal, they'd have had more on Hunter Biden. They could have run on it. They could have gone, he got a sweetheart deal and he pled guilty to 2 misdemeanors and this other stuff. And we know he's really guilty because that's how they do stuff. But he's totally guilty. He admits this stuff. Now, that's fucking gone. That's off the fucking table. Yes, I am a little congested in the cabeza. It is true. But I'm okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to make it. You can't catch it through the show, Sandra. I promise. All right. So, the prosecution's response to Mr. Biden's motion to compel simultaneously seeks an unnecessary fight against tangential issues and then avoids addressing actual disputes that have been identified. As one example, the opposition focuses more on what the prosecutors have produced rather than what it has not, and then steadfastly objects that it should not be required to declare that it has fulfilled its Brady and relative discovery obligations. Another example is the prosecutor's rhetoric accusing Mr. Biden of, quote, making a misleading omission and being, quote, dishonest for not addressing what the prosecution has produced, despite this being a motion to compel the prosecution to disclose what it has not produced. So the prosecution is not producing all the evidence that it has or that it alleges to have. And it's supposed to. So and then there's been leaks of this shit from the prosecution, from Weiss's office, that either he's showing it to Republicans and they're slipping it out to the fucking Post or to Sean Hannity or something. But there's a bunch of this shit in here. And I'll just scroll down to show you some of the images in here because it's fucking glorious. Okay, so do you guys remember the original story that I told you about the Hunter Biden laptop? Okay, so there are 2 Hunter Biden laptops. Actually, there's 3. There's one that he willingly gave to the IRS, which they talk about a lot, which actually has real communications that he handed over through his attorneys that actually have his communications on them. And those things were used in the case against him in court because he had to turn it over and he did. Okay. Then there's the magical laptop left at John Paul McIsaac's Mac store, the only Mac store in Delaware run by a guy who knows Rudy Giuliani's lawyer personally, who's a total Trumper, whose father is a fucking QAnon, and couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup and absolutely wouldn't know the difference between him and Don Jr. if the guy was more than 8 inches away from his fucking face. I'm serious. I'm not being facetious. Literally couldn't pick him out of a lineup at all. Magic. Okay, that we know. We've delved into that. He's being sued by Hunter Biden for for getting a hold of, private emails and nude pictures and shit and disseminating it without the right to do so. And basically as a way to compel him as to where he really got it because he has to defend himself. All right. I will check the Discord because I'm being directed to. Absolutely. By the way, if you're a Patreon, we have a Discord you can hang out in. Defendant's notice of motion to dismiss indictment on immunity conferred by his diversion agreement. Yes, I will get to that in just 1 second. That is absolutely true. And also, hi, Twitch. Hype Train. Don't forget to subscribe because where I mean, maybe Legal AF. That's the only other place you're going to see, and some breakdowns like this. I would love to just have one of the people from Legal AF from the Midas Touch Network on with me to discuss some of this shit, because I do feel like some of this stuff is overlooked. Yeah, drives me a little. So, that's Sawdust, by the way, cut into 3 lines. That gets me to the other story. Okay, so we know about the John Paul McIsaac bullshit story and the fact that Hunter Biden is suing him so that during discovery in the lawsuit, he can go, did you ever actually fucking meet me? Were we ever in the same fucking room together? And the guy can go, yes, you came to my store. Really? Can you point out the guy in the room? No, I cannot. Okay, then how do you know it was him? From his signature. What signature? Can we compare his signature to the one you have on the paper? Is it close but no cigar? Right? Okay. It's a bunch of shit. Like that, that's how you do it, by the way. That's why they're doing it. In the meantime, that guy is persona non grata. He's like the Gal Luft of Delaware Mac stores. Gal Luft, if you don't remember, is the Israeli arms dealer who was selling weapons to awful people against the sanctions of the United States or whatever, who was one of the other Republican star witnesses who's fucking poofed out of existence. That's it. All right. What's the other Hunter Biden laptop story? Well, there was another one discovered way before the John Paul McIsaac story. Way before that. Apparently, it was left at the house of celebrity shrink Keith Ablow. And Ablow used to work at Fox News. He was a regular on Fox News. And he treated Hunter Biden for a short time, apparently, as part of his addiction counseling, because I guess he works with a bunch of addicts, and he was kind of known in those circles. He's like Dr. Drew, only slightly more full of shit and skeevy. And so, fuck Dr. Drew, by the way. We'll get to that later, because anybody who will diagnose somebody over the fucking phone on Loveline and talk about meds that's malpractice. Fuck you. Anyways, that said, even Keith Ablow didn't do that. Although he did get busted for drugging and fucking his clients. Okay. So Keith Ablow, Fox News, family values conservative network shrink that they would bring on to talk about how, I don't know, Barack Obama is angry at white people because he's half black and half white, and that's why he has to be so divisive. He's that fucking guy, right? So he would come on Fox News on the regular and talk that kind of shit about Democrats and other. Okay, now, they raided his house. They raided his house because he was allegedly doping and fucking his patients in that order, I think. And he was handing out, prescription happy pills, right, to everybody, as my Yale surgeon called it before I almost punched him in the fucking face. That's another story for another time. But anyways, he he gets raided, and the FBI calls Hunter Biden's attorney and goes, "Hey, we have some of your property. We have a laptop of yours we have a laptop that says that it allegedly belongs to you. Do you know how it got here?" And their response, but they called him. He said, "I don't know why he would have a fucking laptop of mine. There's no reason why he would. I didn't leave my fucking laptop there. That's ridiculous." And they said, "Well, from what we can tell, and you're not a factor in this case. So it's yours. We're not going to dig into it. It may not be yours, but it looks like it's yours. When we open it up, it looks like it belongs to you. So if you'd like to have it, we'll send it to you, or you can come get it." So they came and got it, and that was the end of that. But it ended at, "I'll take it, but if it's not mine." I don't know how he would have gotten it. There's no fucking reason why I would leave my laptop at my shrink's house. Right? Oh yeah, that gets into how they got Biden's daughter's diary as well. But that's by the way. So Keith Ablow is the guy who was treating him for a little while, right? That's who this picture is from. This picture is from messages that were on the laptop, which doesn't fucking exist or whatever, from Keith Abloh to Hunter Biden, trying to get him to, believe in himself and believe that he could, overcome his addiction, because he had a master carpenter dude who was a coke addict, and he said, you're going to have to choose between your addiction and the, what you love to do with your life, the purpose of your life. And he chose woodworking. And so he sent him a picture going, I've made my choice. He cut Sawdust into 3 lines going, I'd rather do this. I'd rather deal with that kind of dust than that kind of dust. And he sent him that picture. And Keith Abloh sent that picture to Hunter Biden going, if he can do it, you can do it. He was way worse than you were. And by the way, he has. For all practical purposes, as far as we know, Hunter Biden's addiction recovery has been spot on. I'm sure it helps that his father is the president and he's got Secret Service protection, because they'll run interference. They won't always run interference, I presume. They may look the other way in some situations, but in this case, if your dad says it's okay, Don Jr., then maybe they look the other way. But in Joe Biden's case, no fucking way. So this is from Keith Abloh. This is from that first laptop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the thing. This is the picture they did. So they make a point of this. It goes, more specifically, Discovery identifies this as a photo of a photo, which, by the way, you guys know. Fuck you. Like, you're gonna try and use as evidence in anything a photo of a photo. Fuck you. With zero corroboration. No witness that was present. The guy who was in the fucking workroom isn't going, yeah, I took that picture. That was a picture. He took my picture. That's definitely cocaine. Whatever. It's fucking Sawdust. But the point is, it's a fucking picture of a picture. Like, oh, if you guys, oh man, yeah, show me the metadata on the picture of the picture, and it's a digital picture too. It's from the guy's. It's a guy. He took a picture from the picture that on his own phone. You could see the phone shiny in the fucking. Look at that. You could see Abloh's doesn't even know how to do a fucking screenshot. At least screenshot of a photo would tell me something about when it was taken. Oh my God. I'm okay. I'm all right. Okay. I'm all right. I'm going to be fine. But fucking picture of a picture, a photo of a photo, a photo of a photo. Whew. Yeah. Yes, that Keith Abloh. Right. The prosecution was reckless in making such a hyperbolic and sensational claim in a public filing, which is where they said they filed this in public. This is, let go. More specific, Discovery identifies the photo as a photo taken in the office of Mr. Biden's then psychiatrist, Dr. Keith Abloh, which Dr. Abloh initially received from a master carpenter, a master carpenter, a master carpenter, and it's not even the word carpenter doesn't start with a vowel. Why are you? Never mind. And later texted to Mr. Biden stating, this one in my office is of lines of sawdust sent to me by a master carpenter who was a coke addict. The message accompanying that photo was meant to convey to Mr. Biden, too, could overcome any addiction. Prosecution does not provide a date for the photo, but the message from Dr. Abloh is dated November 20th, 2018. We have it. You got it. Fuck off. All right. And that's it. That's they presented the picture without putting the text underneath it. You fucking you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You're gonna wake up a certain. Hold on, I'll see if I find it. These guys, you're really pushing my you. You're pushing my buttons. You, a photo of a photo. You're pushing my buttons. They're pushing them. They're just leaning on them. Oh. I'll fucking lean on you. A photo of a photo. Yeah, you piece of shit. All right. Now, That's just for one. That's the Sawdust thing that you saw, where whatever. And the footnoting on this fucking thing is enormous. See this dense text right here? Okay, this is their filing, double spaced, because that's how you do legal stuff. And the footnotes are like, where they are referencing, in public testimony by the fucking committee, where they're just dumping bullshit, basically doing a PR campaign against Hunter Biden in this thing. Look at these things. Look at these bricks of filing. And Alina, pay fucking attention, because this is what a real filing looks like. Okay? You should have taken the sweetheart deal, is my fucking point. Now, I think there's one other picture in here. Let's see if I can. I don't remember if it's. I think it's more text, because goddamn, there's so much in this. Yeah. Okay, so they are requesting. This is the basis of this whole. Mr. Biden does not misunderstand Brady in arguing that he is entitled to material responsive to his November 15, 2023 discovery request for DOJ materials. Documents in DOJ's possession that, for example, would discredit or undermine the credibility of government witnesses, e.g. agents, may indeed be determinative of a defendant's guilt or innocence, and are squarely Brady, meaning he has the right to know the communications between the IRS whistleblowers and Comer and all these motherfuckers. This is exactly, by the way, that Trump was trying to argue his way out of, I can't get a fair jury in D.C. All the arguments that Trump is making, that he's failing at, by the way, because he's president. He was president of the United States, and so there's bigger scrutiny, and so the expectation of privacy doesn't exist, is certainly in Hunter Biden's corner. So, all right. As explained, Mr. Biden's opening motion and his motion requesting Rule 17 subpoenas, certain communications, memorandas, notes in DOJ's possession from the prior administration may reflect the potential actions and motivation behind the investigation of Mr. Biden and the later charges, an issue for which witnesses may be called during an evidentiary hearing. I can't fucking single that out. It's in that's the part where I'm just like, call Trump as a witness. Oh, fuck, I'd love that. There's a very strong possibility that this filing, they're never going to get fucking Hunter Biden with the shit they've been putting out. They're never going to get him inside a courtroom for a real trial at this point. Honest to God, and if they did manage to do it, if they just got favorable judge after favorable fucking judge, what's going to happen after that? He's going to call the whistleblowers, the IRS guys. They're going to talk about how they. Who they talk to in the Congress, and then the Congress is going to be like Comer and Jim Jordan are going to be called as witnesses, and they're not going to show up, or they will be forced to be deposed. And when they're deposed, they're going to say, yes, I discussed it with the president, or no, I didn't. And then they're going to be shown communications that were brought in discovery that the DOJ had to turn over that says, yeah, you actually did discuss it with him. And then Trump's going to be called as a fucking witness to go, yeah, I told him to bring the hammer down on him because I was losing the election. And that, it's just so good. Meanwhile, this dipshit from old Sodomite University wants us to believe that and Lev Parnas, absolutely, wants us to believe that it was the intelligence officials that were lying.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. So
it is what it is. It is. It was the arrest of Alexander Smirnov. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I said it was pivotal and the biggest and best piece of evidence that we had, the FD 1023 and the witness himself. Choice
doesn't change the fundamental facts.
Yes, it does. Well, all right, I take that back. You know what? He's right. There are no fundamental facts, so you can't turn a 0 into a 1, I suppose.
There are 4 fundamental facts that.
Okay, 4. This motherfucker, he's going to say it again, isn't he? CSL, he's going to say it again, isn't he? He's going to fucking say it again. He's going to tell you matters of opinion and pieces of information are facts or evidence, right? That's what he's going to fucking do? That's what he's going to fucking do. Fundamental facts. Oh, buddy. Say facts again, motherfucker. Say facts again.
100.
Don't you get him right?
Biden gets put on the board of Burisma. He's not qualified to be on the board.
Matter of opinion, not a fact.
He gets put on that board and gets paid $1 million a year. Second, as I said,
no. The amount of money he was paid was predicated on the investments actually working out. So it was not a salary of $1 million a year. It varied. He made up to $1 million, I think, and maybe even a little over one of the years. But it was not. They didn't write him $1 million check every year. Shut the fuck up.
Said he's not qualified to be on the board. He said so himself.
No, he knows he was there because of his name. That's different. And the reason he was qualified to be on that board, I'm here to tell you, is because he couldn't abscond with the fucking money. I've said this a dozen fucking times, but everybody who brought money into Ukraine was manipulated by Russians or paid more money to just fucking undermine the energy sector and all the governmental policies and the governmental function, I would say, of the Ukrainian government on behalf of Russia, and they would always fucking leave. Well, guess what? Joe Biden was never going to let his fucking son, Hunter, take the investors' money into Ukraine and then steal it and fuck off and go live in Moscow like everybody else did. That's a qualification. That's your fucking qualification. Security guards that guard a fucking factory at night don't have to know fuck all about how automation on an auto assembly line works. Nothing. But without them, the gear gets stolen and the company can't function. Do you understand? That's what this is. Oy.
Third, in Dubai on December 4th, 2015.
Oh, it's making me so angry. I almost like it. You know what I mean? It's getting me a little hot and bothered. You know what I mean? I'm kind of getting an anger boner. Is that possible? I think it is. I think it fucking is. Because I gotta say, right, asshole. I got news for you. That phone call happened after the decision that Shokin had to be fired was made months earlier. You dumb motherfucker. Hold on one second. I gotta bring it up. Now they're making me go all Sparks and have to bring up a fucking piece of. You piece of shit. I gotta fucking this asshole's gotta try to drive me fucking crazy in this shit. All right. Hey, pal. December. Hold on. What did he say? He said something about fucking December. Say that December shit again. Say December again, you dumb motherfucker. Say when?
Third.
In
Dubai on December 4th, 2015.
December 4th, 2015. December fucking 4th. December. Fucking 4th. I'll see your December 4th, and I'll raise you. Sorry, I got a sprinkle. Went down the wrong pipe. I'll raise you November 23rd, you dumb motherfucker, before any phone call is made. This isn't even the original document. This is just the fucking updated talking points that the State Department, the fucking State Department gave the vice president when he was going there to carry out the administration's orders. Now let me show you some fucking words in here that might stick with you a little bit if you want to talk about $1 billion fucking dollars worth of loan guarantees, not taxpayer money. That only becomes taxpayer money if they don't pay the fucking money back. And the only way they don't pay the fucking money back is if they're, attacked by Russia. And if somebody else helps Russia attack them to guarantee they can never pay it back. That's fucking weird. Anyways, check this out. This is the background on what he's going to be fucking saying when he gets there. When he fucking gets there. And in there, if you'll notice, it says, there is wide agreement that anti-corruption must be at the top of the list of reforms that must include an overhaul of the Prosecutor General's office, including removal of Prosecutor General Shokin, who is widely regarded as an obstacle to fighting corruption, if not a source of the problem. This is the most recent update. This is November 22nd. This is the day before. Oh, hey, guess what? They touched on it again. They did another draft of it. You know what it says? Same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. U.S. assistance. Yatsenyuk and Poroshenko will be looking for tangible signs of U.S. support to assist Ukrainian people during these difficult times, facilitate further reforms, and help with the reforms to defend against Russian aggression. You will sign our third billion-dollar loan guarantee and publicly announced fiscal year 15 U.S. assistance for the first time, which does not include security assistance. Our support will go to top non-security priorities, including assistance to fight corruption, back up here, necessary to instill public confidence in the government. Pushing forward, there's wide agreement that anti-corruption must be at the top of the list. The reforms must include an overhaul. Must include. And reforms must include. Must is a big word. Must fucking include. I would have just put fucking in there. Just put fucking in there. Must fucking include an overhaul of the Prosecutor General, including removal. Must include removal of Prosecutor General Shokin. This is before the fucking phone call ever happens, you skeevy bastard. Wrestle with that, why don't you, you tit? God damn. Say facts again, motherfucker.
15, the executives at Burisma, Mr. Zolochevsky, Mr. Pizarski, specifically asked Hunter Biden, can you weigh in with D.C. and help us with the pressure we are facing from
D.C.
the Prosecutor General in Ukraine?
Yes, he made a phone call to ask them to do what they were already going to do.
Hunter Biden makes a call.
And they go, yeah, that's been a thing for months. Oh, they want us to not fire Shokin because they've got him on a short leash and they're afraid that if he gets replaced, then they'll have to deal with a whole new person and they won't be able to buy that person off because anti-corruption's at the top of our list. Oh, yeah, I can't do anything with you. Fuck that. Sorry, we're going to fire the fucking guy. And the new guy that's going to come in is going to force Zlochevsky to flee the fucking country.
Devin Archer told us he made a call to his dad to...
No, he didn't. Devin Archer did not say that. Say facts again, motherfucker. Say facts again. It's a fact that they said they were going to call D.C. It's a fact that he didn't say he was going to call his dad. That's a fact, motherfucker. Say facts again.
Joe Biden. And then 3 days later, Joe Biden goes to Ukraine and conditions the release of American tax money.
Wow, he just hopped on a fucking plane. What are the odds? 3 days later, his son calls and he's like, boom, I better get the fuck over there. I'm the vice president. I'll just drop everything and fly over there for this trip that has been planned for months as part of a series of meetings that I have been engaging in this entire time.
On the firing of the prosecutor, applying the pressure to the company that Hunter Biden sat on the board of. Those facts, they don't change what...
Woo! He's just trying to, you could tell, you know what I mean? He's trying to get me riled up. Not only were there no facts in those 4 essential facts, but there were at least 3 lies and 1 lying by omission. Say facts again, motherfucker.
Regardless of what this confidential human source has said.
Regardless of what this confidential source has said.
This informant now charged with some of the most corroborating evidence. You said that in an interview last
month.
Yeah,
it did corroborate what I just said there, but it doesn't change the facts.
Yeah. Well, it's like saying, yes, there are. Yes, we just moved the headstones and not the graves. And yes, there are cracks in the foundation. And we found out today that the foundation of the house was made out of marzipan and damp grape nuts. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a home. That this house is clear.
Those allegations from the FD 1023 are now found to all be lies. So how does that impact the investigation?
I think you should ask the FBI why they were so reluctant.
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, son, they tried to warn you. They tried to tell you the guy was full of shit. They tried to tell you, and you guys insisted.
They told us if we don't, when we wanted to see the 1020, they said this could jeopardize national security, the safety of this confidential.
Yes. You know why? Because at the time you motherfuckers were asking for it, this fucker was talking to more Russians, high-level intelligence operatives in the Russian, he was telling his handler, I'm talking to these fucking guys. It was only after that they found out that he was talking to these guys because they were telling him what to tell the FBI. They were worried that if his name got out, he wouldn't be useful, essentially, at this point, it's true, as a double agent. That motherfucker, if the best thing that could happen to Alexander Smirnov is he goes to fucking jail in the United States and stays there. Because if he gets out and tries to flee the country, he's going to get a fucking Novichok enema.
The human source, you can't know his name. They didn't want to show it to us.
Right. And you guys had to keep digging. They were trying to help you out, motherfucker. It never occurred to you that Chris Wray is a Trump appointee. It never occurred to you that some of them are just going, dude, stop fucking asking. Stop asking questions. No, we can't talk about her. No, it's just not, we can't, don't ask.
Then they finally did. I mean, this is a guy they paid, I think, since 2010. So 14 years they've been paying this guy. And he's a trusted source. And
yeah, it's weird how he was like kind of, on the line as a possible source from 2010, but the money really started to roll in around 2017. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird that the vast majority of the money that this dopey motherfucker was paid happened from 2017 to 2020? That doesn't stand out as him. That he doesn't seem like he was a little plant that was meant to be part of this strategy. And then once Trump got into office, the fucking gravy train started for anybody who would cough up shit, whether it was true or not, or based on anything they could prove or not, on the fucking on the Bidens. Just make it the fuck up. That's your you had one job.
Now we find out. Plus, I think there's sort of the, when Christopher Steele lied to the FBI about President Trump, he gave.
Sorry, how did he lie about President Trump? He didn't. As a matter of fact, Christopher Steele was hired by I think was it the Washington Examiner because there were conservatives who were never Trumpers before he won the primary, who were like, we got to get rid of this fucker. He's a pussy grabbing asshole, and I don't need somebody like that running my fucking party. And the Republicans started developing their own opposition research against him on behalf of the other Republicans who were running, because they were siding with fucking Jeb Bush or Ted Cruz or both, because the idea they were going to have a new Texas dynasty out of the two of them, right? They put this together. They hired him to do this, and then he brought it back, and they're like, nope, we're on the Trump bandwagon now. Fuck it, we don't need it or whatever. So he took it over to the company that was working with the Hillary campaign and sold it to them for $1 million, and they got it, and he's like, I'll show it to you, but I can't, it's a lot of stuff, but you guys should really see this. And they're like, you see it after you pay for it, because obviously once you've seen it, you don't have to pay for it anymore. And so they bought it from him, and they're like, well, we can't use this. We're gonna win. People aren't this fucking stupid. The TYT crowd isn't going to gin up enough bizarre fucking psycho super lefty bullshit to cost us the electoral college, and we're going to beat him in the popular vote. So she's fine. She doesn't need to talk about PP tapes to beat this motherfucker. And then Christopher Steele goes, a lot of this shit is verifiable. This is some scary shit. He took it to the FBI because the Hillary campaign wasn't going to run with it. They didn't release it to fucking Vox. It got out because Christopher Steele was like, this is real shit.
Gets paid more. When Smirnov lies to the FBI about President Biden, he gets indicted. I mean, go figure. So,
okay. One, Christopher Steele talked to sources. Reported what the sources told him. He's not saying he knows these things firsthand. He's saying, this is the scuttlebutt. These are my sources, and my sources say this. That's what the Oppo researcher, that's what the Steele dossier is. Steele dossier is not a bunch of shit where Christopher Steele wrote a fucking affidavit. These are the things I witnessed Trump doing. This is specifically a document of, this is what I was able to gather talking to my sources and years of the intelligence services. This is where I know when, all right, it's a secondary document. And I'm presenting to you, this is information I trust to be true, but you'll have to, you have to understand that this is secondary sources. And he said it. He literally was like, that's what it is. Read the fucking thing. That's what it says. Unlike Alexander Smirnov, who says, no, I talked to these guys directly, and I was there. I was in these fucking meetings. I talked to the head of Burisma in 2015, 2016, while Biden was vice president, and it turns out he never even met those motherfuckers till Trump was in office. That's the difference. I love that, man. I love it when he talks like that. I just, way to go, Sparks. Good stuff. Way to keep it all up in the dome. Sometimes I get my frosting in a bunch over these assholes, and I get all wound up, and I always count on you to kind of talk me down. I appreciate it. Not a problem. Glad to do it. Means a lot, and you're gonna keep playing the clip, aren't you? Yeah, I gotta finish the clip. It's only got about a couple minutes left on it. If he says facts again, I know. Just I'll take care of it. I get it. I totally get it. I get it. Just deep breath. Don't get your waffle cone all soggy.
It doesn't change the fundamental facts.
I know. He said fundamental. Sorry. I promise I won't wind it back. Okay.
Change the facts. It does change the facts. Those are no longer facts. Those are not true.
I don't know who that reporter is, but I love him and I want to have his babies.
Four things I just said, they're absolutely true.
No, they are not.
Did Hunter Biden get put on the board of Burisma? Yes. Was he paid $1 million a year? Yes.
No.
Did Joe Biden condition the release of tax money for the firing of the prosecutor was applying?
That wasn't fact number 3, motherfucker. Fact number 3 was the phone call.
Yes, all 4 of those things are facts.
That's 3. You counted to 3, dum-dum.
Absolutely.
Who taught you to count? Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Regardless of what the confidential human source may or may not have said.
What do you make of Smirnov's connections to Russians, high-level Russian?
We'll find out. That's obviously.
David Weiss, the special counsel, said he may be trying to influence this year's presidential election.
I will tell you this: Scott Brady, when Scott Brady, U.S. attorney in Pittsburgh, when we talked to him, he had actually checked out the confidential human source, where he traveled to, when he traveled to, and said that he felt he had the indicia of credibility. David Weiss thinks otherwise, and they've indicted him. We'll have to see.
Okay. What he's talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that that Alexander Smirnov flew to Vienna for a meeting. The question is not whether he flew to Vienna and met these people or not. He did. He did it 3 years after he said he did. When he said he went, see, because you have 2 issues here, 2 minor issues, space and time, and both of them have to be operating in parallel. You dumb motherfucker. And so if he's someplace, it's like saying, can you be in the right place at the right time, the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the right time? It's hard to say. Oh, I knocked my earpiece out, but it's dead anyway, so I'm fine. I don't know why this guy won't charge. It's driving me crazy. I'll figure it out at some point. Anyways, charge, you silly little thing. Good Lord. He was in Vienna, Austria. 3 years after he said he was. 2.5. Facts matter.
Biden to be candid today? I mean, do you think you're?
We'll see. I mean, Rob Walker. When we asked him who the email that he's copied on 10% for the big guy, we asked him who's the big guy. He says, I don't know. So he wasn't too candid. I mean, I think everyone knows who the.
Bobolinsky wrote that. That's not how they talk about him. Meanwhile, the Trumps say big guy. What's the assumption that they knew they have emails coming out that calls Trump the big guy and that are incriminating? So they wanted that little thing added.
Big guy is.
Right? They like add something in where they call Biden the big guy so that when the shit comes out where we're talking about our criminal activity where Trump's the big guy, because we definitely call him that, it's an ironic title except for his gut. But in terms of his hands and his dick, obviously, it's big guy in air quotes. But let's put something like that in there so that they find it, so that when it comes out about us, it'll go, big guy. I don't know what that was. Biden, big guy.
So we'll see what Jim Biden's like.
Do you think the FBI acted corruptly or DOJ acted corruptly in bringing charges against Smirnoff? Do you think they did that?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I'm just saying it doesn't change the underlying facts.
Don't. Ah! Don't. Just, you're going to be all right. God. Sit. Better. He gets a little, it happens. It's all right.
And the FBI, I mean, Chris Wray didn't want to let us have the form.
Hey, fuckwad. Hey, fuckwad. Maybe he was doing you a favor. Also, somebody in the chat just said, and we scroll back to this, what happened to the Hunter laptop that Rudy had? Barbara on Facebook is asking. Barbara, Rudy never had the laptop ever. Real quick, side story about Rudy Giuliani in his glory hole apartment that we've seen several times. He talks about having the laptop. He's always had copies of the hard drive. The copies of the hard drive that Rudy have more files on them than the hard drive he allegedly got from John Paul McIsaac. The 217 gigabytes of hard drives and stuff on the Rudy hard drives that he was passing around after that Wall Street Journal article, and that he's passed along ever since, have somewhere in the order of like 400 gigs of shit. And he went through it and categorized stuff in different folders. He made folders on the fucking hard drive. That's supposed to be evidence. So, Rudy Giuliani has never seen, held, touched the laptop ever. Now, there is a laptop. Does anybody remember? Hold on. Let me bring it out of the chat room. I would probably do, because we've covered all this shit before. It's really fun. Does anybody remember? Do you remember? Anybody in the chat room remember the hard drive that was found at Rudy's place when the FBI served a search warrant on his place? Anybody know? I'll give you a hint. It was behind a couch. There was a laptop hidden. There you go, Andrea, right out of the gate. Look at that. Tobias got it as well. There you go, Nancy. You guys are so good. You don't even need me anymore. Okay, end of show. You've done it. I've taught all I have to teach, and from this point on, you will build the church in your own way. And now I will just walk off into the sunset. Because, all right, I'm kidding. Yes. So when they searched Rudy's apartment, they had a warrant to get all of the all communication devices, because it was about his communications with Trump and all the stuff that were part of the case that Jack Smith is putting together. So that's laptops of his, right? Anything he owns. anything that has any phone that has, yeah, who doesn't keep it there? Boston Brian. Well, we'll get there in a second. Any cell phones, burner phones, old phones. They've apparently found a drawer with like 4 fucking phones in it. Not surprising. I have a couple of spare phones. When I went to China, I got a separate phone because I didn't trust any of the software on the Chinese phones, that I didn't want to add it to my iPhone and put it on and bring it home with me. So I got a separate phone to use over there. And then I used a VPN to basically FaceTime through it. And that was how I contacted people or whatever. And I'm sure if you're operating in the security world, you do that, as well. But he had multiple ones. They kept them. They kept laptops, and they took his desktop computer as well. And then they copy everything. They do a forensic copy of everything, and then they return them to you. In some cases, I think his desktop, they ended up giving it back to him because it was, or he just had to go get another one. I don't know. But either way, one of the things they found was hidden behind his couch in the living room was his ex-wife's. He was in the process of the divorce at the time, or he'd gone through it or whatever. His ex-wife's laptop hidden behind the couch. He had stolen it from her, essentially, in theory, or borrowed it, and what had one of his security friends like going through it so they could find stuff to give him leverage against his wife in the divorce proceedings. Sarah, a burner phone? Okay, a burner phone, if you don't watch Reacher, a burner phone is a phone you don't need to keep. So let's say you go to a foreign country, or you work for, like, spies have burner phones all the time. What you do is you go to the store, and they sell those like single-use phones where you put a SIM card in it, and then you sign up for service and you pay as you go on it, so that it doesn't have an account on it. You can pay it in cash and that kind of stuff. Terrorists use them all the time. Drug runners use them all the time. It's a phone that is not registered to you personally. That's right. And so at any point, once you're done, or it's been, you're done with it, or somebody's getting too close to you, or the federales are moving in, you just break the phone, snap the SIM card, throw it in the garbage in 3 different places, and there you go. How do I know that? Because I know everything. Let me tell you. Come in for the nugget, kids. Here's another Sparksism. Ignorance does not equal innocence. That it is no defense to go, I wouldn't even know how that shit works. That's stupid. That's I don't believe you. If we're questioning about whether you were engaged in some shady shit, your defense that, like, I wouldn't even know how you would even start something like that is fucking dumb. Because you can't prove it. It's an unverifiable. How do I know you don't know it? It's fucking impossible. Even if I caught you reading about it, doesn't mean you were taking it in, whatever. It's just a fucking excuse. And a lot of times, religious fanatics and other people would go, I don't even know anything about that. That's horrible. And you're like, okay, you were fucking doing it last weekend. Shut the fuck up. So, I am a big fan, as many of you might know, of knowing everything that I can. Which is why, hold on, let me see if I can bring this over here. It's under my shit. Let's see. Try to do this real quick. This is a thing that shoots fireballs that you can attach to your wrist. This is my Burna gun, which shoots pepper balls and the like, and has a laser sight on it. I think if some of you have seen this before, but it's an actual. There you go. And then it's non-lethal. And this little guy right here, see this little watch-like thing? If you ever see me near you and I'm wearing this thing, it's not plugged in. I'm not going to say I can spoof Wi-Fi with this in a Starbucks, create a separate fake Wi-Fi account, name it whatever the fuck I want, and if you sign on to what you think is their Wi-Fi or close to it, like they have, and I don't recommend doing this. This is not a good thing. But you can double O Hal, you betcha. You can set it up so that, it looks like the same. It's more than a cursory glance. right? Yes, I am white hat. It's true. But you can set this up so that somebody will sign on and it'll say, like, Starbucks will have their fucking Wi-Fi in there. And Hal is why you need a VPN. That's exactly right. You'll have a thing, you'll see it when you're trying to sign into it. It says Starbucks or whatever Wi-Fi, and then you might see Starbucks Wi-Fi 5G, and you're like, oh, that's better. That'll be faster. That could be the one I created if I'm sitting nearby, because that's what you do. You find the name of whatever the first one that comes up, or the first two that come up, and then you offer one that's like high speed or whatever, and somebody goes, oh, well, that's better, and then they sign on to it. And then basically you can just access their shit. And then you put in malware and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, it's not important. The important thing is that I, for the sake of a script that I've been working on for the last 2 years for a series, I dove into this world really heavily and buried myself in it. And so hold on. I'll show you one other device. Hang out. I'm back. Now, before I show you this next thing, welcome back. Hi, gather round, will you? This thing's kind of clunky looking, but that's what I like about it. This guy's called the Flipper, and I'm not gonna. Well, I suppose I could turn it on, and no. But if you want to look up what this does, it'll freak you out. But it's like it was way upstairs, so I ran. So it's got a myriad of uses, but one of the things this thing can do is it can spoof a car key fob, or a room key for a hotel, or a gate opener. It can, if you have access to it, you know how like sometimes you can take a remote, if you get one of those universal remotes, and you can take your regular remote and you just point them at each other, and the universal remote will learn what this remote does just by pushing a couple of buttons. It will go, oh, it's this kind, and then it will keep it, and then you can use the universal one, and you don't need the old one anymore. Okay, this is for like everything. And what you can do with it is kind of scary. And at one point, there was apparently, and I think they fixed it since, but the code for opening a Tesla trunk was the same for every car. Right? And it was a big gag where people were taking these things, and once you spoofed one of them, and all you had to do was be near somebody when they used it, close enough to where you could read it. And then you could, these guys would like drive around on their little like e-bikes or whatever, and just pop the trunk on Teslas in the rain and that kind of stuff, just to be a dick. It's that kind of thing. So, but between these two things, you could get up to a lot of shit. Okay? Yeah. Now, for the record, I don't use them for anything illegal, and these are for research purposes only. However, I will admit in the case of a couple of times I've been at a hotel, and a couple of times when I've had a rental car, I have spoofed the key on this thing in case I forget it. So I'm like, if I had to share it with somebody else, I'm like, I'll just spoof the key. That way I can start it up with this thing, and just in case. I never had to use it, but I did it mostly just to try it out. But the hotel room, that was very easy. That I could spoof the card, the RFID in that card would work, for the time that I had the room anyways. So anyways, let me tell you, this is why these two things are why I call bullshit on all the Hunter Biden laptop nonsense all the time. This is why I have been unwavering in my cries of bullshit about this stuff. Do you understand? That's what drug users say. It's just for research, right? Do you get where I'm coming from? I know how this shit works. I've dug into it a lot. And that's why I'm like, metadata or it didn't fucking happen. Because in theory, if I really wanted to do some awful shit, shit, this isn't even, add a laptop to these fucking things, or a burner shit piece Lenovo laptop that costs $300. Holy shit. You could be a super, all right, this is what the whole fucking thing about, like, you know, Biden gave Iran billions of dollars, which he didn't. And they used that money to finance Hamas, which they didn't. I got news for you, motherfucker. It ain't expensive. Being awful isn't that expensive. It's frighteningly cheap these days, especially laptop, AI, and these two fucking things. Even a dumb spy is dangerous. Yeah, you can go white hat to black hat real fucking quick. And again, at some point, like, I've been working with my, because I have a 3D printer, and I've been working lately on designing a body for a drone, because I want to show you guys, what it takes. Like, it's taking me longer to do it because I got other shit to do, and I've been traveling, and I have shows to do, and otherwise. But if I spent, a month on it just by myself, I could 3D print most of the stuff I need to make drones right here in my house, with the exception of, like, just the electric. I just need 4 electric motors and an Arduino. That's it. And a battery, I suppose. I'm not going to make my own fucking batteries. That said, I've been practicing and working on that because, again, it's for a series idea that I have. It's an ongoing thing. And at some point I might Kickstarter a pilot for it, because I have a real strong idea about what it should be like, and I think that's a really good way to start, I think, maybe. Yeah. I will use my power for good, I promise. But when's the sexy liberal things? We can't tell you till next Thursday. We're going to announce next Thursday. I think it's the 4th. Yeah. So, point being is that when this ditzy motherfucker wants to come out and tell you what facts are, Let me show you. You want a simple fact? Here's a simple fact. See this thing right here? This might shock you. This is not a laptop. Okay? We good? I could look scary. Oh, if you only knew. Yeah. Sorry, next Thursday is the 29th. The Thursday after that. Not next Thursday, the one after that. I beg your pardon. Yes. 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from today. So the 4th. That's when we're officially making the announcement, I think. I'm hoping that's when it happens. I don't want to share information that somebody leaked some of the dates already, and some of them weren't even confirmed. And then I've got at the same time, I have a bunch of Nerd Halen gigs. By the way, the 2nd is, oh, you're right. So Saturday's the 2nd, 4th is the Monday. So yeah, Monday the 4th, I think, is when we're gonna do it. So I will I'm in Dallas with Sexy Liberal, and then tomorrow I have to go to LA to do I think I'm gonna do the morning show. Might just be an hour. We'll figure that part of it out. It depends on if I have guests or not, or push the afternoon show because I have flappers tomorrow night. So I've got to drive to LA and then do my show and drive right back so I can do radio from here on Saturday morning, because I'm whatever. Who needs sleep when you're under the weather? Who was it? Fugel saying? I don't know. I honestly don't. I came late to that story, so yeah. Dallas is March 2nd, week from Saturday. We'll be there with Nerd Halen. The only Van Halen tribute cover. I guess we're a cover act because we're not really a tribute. Because we don't dress like them. We dress like nerds. So we're the only Van Halen cover band that does all three singers. Yeah, we even do the one Gary Sharon single that was big. Yeah, and I think we're going to be doing it at that one. So hey, yes, and if you join Patreon, my Flapper shows are free for you to watch online. Post them up there or live stream them. Now their live streaming is working again, so hooray! What did I go? Wait, no, okay, I'm all right. Like that little fucking video. Oi! All right, now the other thing was, all right, they lost a lot of time talking about that. Meanwhile, though, they wanted to talk about James Biden and what he said. There's an old picture of Joe, and there's James right next to him, his younger brother. GOP rep, who is this? Jason Smith. Oh, this is the other guy. Yeah. Jason Smith, the GOP. Is he the? Well, we'll see. I don't know if I'm getting the right guy. But is he the guy that it most likely to be mistaken for the grandson of Paul Lynde? Is that who this guy is? I forget. Anyways, yes. Oh, yes. We have been noticed by Wolfgang Van Halen. And he has been very nice about it. They apparently the Van Halen camp likes us a lot, and because we love them, and we celebrate Edward and everybody. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Yeah, the Bidens all look Irish for some reason. Can't figure out why. All right. So here we go. This is.
Congressman Jason Smith, he's a Republican of Missouri, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. Now, this was a deposition behind closed doors. We don't have a transcript yet, but what are you
It's going to be magic. I'm sure. I can't wait. How much do you think I'm going to enjoy?
able to tell us about this?
Well, Dana, yesterday, what we saw out of James Biden is that all he focused on was protecting the family brand.
And now, those lovely folks that talk about like body language experts or whatever, we'll talk about looking up to the left. When you're aware that you're bullshitting, but you're trying to shape your bullshit for the people that you're talking to, so they won't turn on you because you need their attention or their friends or their friendship or their support or what have you. I'll turn it down a little bit. How's that?
Proven step by step, that's what they do best. Protect the family brand and sell that family brand all over the world.
Okay. The family brand is apparently trustworthiness and family values. Change my mind.
Dana, the family brand is Joe Biden. We have.
Well, here's the thing. During the period you're talking about, he wasn't in office anymore. So, honestly, you might as well be bitching about Kanye.
Numerous WhatsApp messages and also emails that came from the IRS whistleblowers that intimately showed James Biden, along with Hunter, Tony Bobulinski, Rob Walker, and other associates
in 2017 and 2018,
selling the brand
in 2017 and 18
to foreigners all over the world.
Foreigners? Really?
And the brand is Joe Biden.
Cool. In 2017 and 2018. Are you jealous that he's a brand in that regard? I mean, honestly.
So
were they selling Air Bidens?
Just to repeat the quote he gave, I've had a 50-year career in a variety of business ventures. Joe Biden never had any involvement or any direct or indirect financial interest in those activities. Are you?
He said that under oath. When you have access to his bank accounts. When you have access to the corporate bank accounts of his companies and his endeavors.
You're saying that's not true. And if so, did he lie?
Under oath, which is a crime. Tread lightly.
Well, let me just say, the IRS whistleblowers provided the Ways and Means Committee an email that
I think a simple yes would have worked.
James Biden was included in, that was talking about how they would distribute the profits from the Chinese energy company.
the CEFC deal to buy the natural gas company in 2017, 2018, which was after Joe Biden had left office and before he had declared to run again, when he had no influence to sell.
20% to James.
What the fuck are you looking at?
And 10% to the big guy. You cannot tell me that Joe Biden was not involved. Those are text messages and emails that was provided by the IRS whistle.
Yeah, that's Bobolinsky wanting him in on the deal.
Whistleblowers that contradict what James Biden said on numerous accounts yesterday. Joe Biden has said all along.
So it contradicts what he's saying by your interpretation, but you're not comfortable saying he lied under oath. Why is that? Because his statement, James Biden's, was pretty fucking definitive.
That he had.
Oh, thanks, Wayne. You finally got it.
No knowledge of his son's business dealings, but we have Mr. Archer and numerous other individuals that have came before us where there's been phone calls,
just back
there's
to
been
the,
dinner meetings with his business associates.
Just back to the most pointed question. Are you alleging that he's lying?
Yeah, that would be the part where it matters.
He's definitely not telling the truth. It's complete hog.
That's got to be a bit of a dodge. Why don't you just say definitely not telling the truth? Sounds like lying. Why are you scared? If these people are the worst, most corrupt, criminally crimers in the world, then why the fuck not? Why I choose the left square, as you would.
Watch what he's saying. And so people are going to have to be held accountable. I sure hope the Justice Department is paying attention to what's happening.
Sure. Yeah. To what exactly?
Listen to President Biden, just as a reminder for everyone, this is August of 2019, right before that election. Watch here.
First of all, I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
And then you had Hunter Biden.
Yeah, and by the way, saying hello to whoever their business partners is, not the same thing. Saying he's glad that you guys things are working out great with you guys. Cool. Excuse me. That's not the same thing.
And say this just this past December.
My father was not financially involved in my business, not as a practicing lawyer, not as a board member of Burisma, not in my partnership with a Chinese private businessman, not in my investments at home nor abroad, and certainly not as an artist.
How do those two statements from President Biden and his son?
One is more specific because it's directly going to a question that was presented by the committee itself, and more recent allegation that directly tied money and checks from CEFC to him allegedly through his brother to Joe. So they were specifically talking about money from China going through him to get to Joe. And so he was making an even more specific statement than the broad, we didn't talk about business, he's not part of my business. And specifically going, I'm answering your charges now. You are making a charge, I'm calling bullshit.
And Hunter match up with what James Biden told you.
How does the laptop match up with hard drive?
Yesterday.
Well, let's say this first. Before the Ways and Means Committee released the IRS whistleblower information, Joe Biden continued to say he knew nothing about his son's business dealings. The day after we released the IRS whistleblower depositions, the White House then started saying Joe Biden was not involved. Then you have Hunter.
Yeah, same thing. Being more specific because your charges are getting more specific.
Moving on a few months later, saying
we made a specific allegation about money that was transferred. Therefore, that money was clearly from China and directed to him. And he was like, no, never.
That he was not financially involved. The IRS whistleblower,
because they were making a financial allegation at the time,
provided to our committee numerous examples of where Joe Biden was connected
by blood to people who made money.
Knew about Hunter Biden's business dealings, James Biden's business dealings. So that is complete.
Knew about. Sorry, run that by me again. Knew about
Hunter Biden's business.
Hold on. No, I got him back up front.
Provided to our committee numerous examples of where Joe Biden was connected and knew about
was connected because relatives and knew about
Hunter Biden's business dealings, James Biden's business dealings. So that is complete counter
No, it isn't.
to what James Biden said yesterday in those transcribed interviews.
All right, got about another week before Hunter's there. We'll follow it then. Thank you, sir, for coming on today.
Yes, you literally got the president's brother in a deposition and came away with fuck all. You couldn't even say when he told you that his brother, that Joe was never involved in his business in any form for 50 years. You couldn't even say he lied. Are they psychologically incapable of using logic? They might be, Shanzir. Shanzir? Is that, am I pronouncing it correctly? It's always hard with pinyin, you know. Now I'm getting worried. Oh yeah, me too. Totally fucking panicked about the whole thing. What did I put in there? Something else recent. Oh yeah, that's what. Okay. So this is
Jason Smith, the Republican from Missouri. Thank you. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Steve Ducey. Since you sat through that waste of time, why not sit through a waste of time with us every morning on Fox and Friends? Now, somebody's confused. By the way, you're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide. I think that shows taste and breeding on your part. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let's build our crowd into an enormous. Is it wrong that I just want to say I just was overwhelmed with the desire to go, can you dig it? But, share the show, make a comment on the clips that we post sometimes. If you see one, you're like, ooh, people need to see this. That's even enough. That helps in the algorithm of this. Also, maggots and trolls, thank you for being here. I know you're big Greg Kelly fans. I know you love his lip jut and his weird habit of reading off of his desk in his very professional news studio at the Newsmax garage. How bizarre is the title of this one? Come on. How bizarre, fellas. 355 million. How bizarre. Harumph. This is Greg Kelly pokes holes in the many cases against Trump. Well, somebody had to. Thank God Greg Kelly is here. Take it home, Greg. The most miserable man on the internet. Welcome, Greg Kelly. You waste of time.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre. Who remembers that song? Big in the 90s?
Really? What? How bizarre. How bizarre. Remember that? No, I don't. What?
All right. It is bizarre. But you know what? It's getting a little bit normal. All these crazy cases against Donald.
Yes, Trump is such a criminal. His reputation as a criminal is settling in.
Trump, and they are crazy. They are without merit. It is.
No, there's kind of a lot of merit. If you don't believe me, I know you're not going to want to hear it from me that they have merit. Talk to Alina Habba, because she's the one filling out the forms poorly.
My responsibility, however, to address these things.
It is your responsibility. Thanks for being here, Greg. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to laugh at someone else.
The way few others are doing.
Oh, you mean without any attachment to reality or logic, or are you going to do this from the bus? Is that what you mean?
You may have noticed by now that most people in the media never actually read the reports.
Well, Greg, this might shock you, but on this channel, kind of pride myself on doing it, dum-dum. Now, please, I think it was Hannibal Lecter who said, throw me with your acumen.
They don't read the Her report. They don't read the Mueller report.
They don't read the Her report and the Mueller report. Okay, motherfucker, you did not read the fucking Mueller report.
And they don't,
or the Durham report.
Don't read this judge's crazy ruling. To some extent, I don't blame them.
Because I didn't read those other things. Well, I tried, but I was asking people on the bus what certain words meant, and they gave me a wedgie.
But I basically do. Yeah.
know, why prep for a show? Just make it up as you go along.
You have to confront this stuff.
You do.
And I have. And I've seen some interesting matters that have received no attention.
Well, let's dive into it, motherfucker.
That must receive some.
Yeah, some, obviously.
Some of these issues are not that big.
Nah, some of them are petty bullshit that won't change a thing. You know, fantastic. That's the kind of shit I need to hear, buddy. Tell me all about it. I'll put it on the fucking website. Also, yes, my back is so fucking hairy it comes out of my goddamn shirt.
Others are absolutely huge.
Huge.
Let's start with something medium, okay?
Yeah, don't dive straight in.
Okay, medium. The state of New York brought in this guy, Michael, he spells his name a little bit funny, McCarty.
Well, they spell it like you'd say it back in the old country. You don't you know? You say it McCarthy. You don't write it down. We don't need a thought in there. What are we, fucking Castilian Spanish? McCarthy. You got a fucking lisp. Keep it at home, you tit. It's McCarthy.
He's a financier. He was New York State's expert witness, right? He was the plaintiff. He had information, his analysis.
He was not the plaintiff. They were the plaintiff in this case. Yeah. He was not, whatever.
Said that Trump was a bad guy.
Well, that's true, obviously. You know, and I'm sure he was basing that on him being friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 2 decades and only kicking him to the curb when Jeffrey Epstein beat him, you know, raised the price of a property that he was trying to buy to sell to a Russian oligarch so the guy could bulldoze the fucking place. Fucking with you. It's probably the Access Hollywood tape.
And engaged in fraud and all kinds of other things, right?
Yeah, all kinds of other
things. He was their expert witness.
Uh-huh.
New York State has a budget of $230 billion.
It's a big state. I mean, it might shock you to know that Goldman Sachs has $5 trillion worth of wealth go through their computer system, their banking system, every day.
Hundreds of thousands of people work for New York State. They had to find this guy and pay him $400,000 to
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, he had to study up on this stuff and he had to be right about it. So they had to spend months going through the books and going through the stuff or whatever. It's a project. It's months and months and months. And he had a staff go through it. They had to compare it against the law. He had to recognize whether there was a case to be made. He had to refer, his beliefs about it to them before they actually proceeded, and then he had to testify based on that. It's a whole group. Fuck it. They wrote him a check for $400K. It probably came from CEFC.
Testify and go through the paperwork. And
just go through the paperwork. That's the other thing too. The testifying part was like $35, but the rest of it was going through the paperwork. Was it? Do I need to cut to the video of how much fucking money Trump? Or how much paperwork Trump said I provided billions and billions of pieces of paper.
He didn't even.
That wasn't even a fucking penny a sheet.
Work in real estate at any point. Not on the resume that the judge was so excited about. And the judge was really excited that this guy went to the Wharton School.
Yeah, Trump's very excited about people who went to the Wharton School. I don't know why. Are you about to make the case that the Wharton School cranks out idiots and assholes? Please do.
Hey, he went to the Wharton School. He must know what he's talking about.
Trump went to the Wharton School, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He was very impressed. Why wasn't he impressed that Donald Trump went to the Wharton School? Donald Trump Jr. went to the Wharton School.
Well, because because not everyone who went to the Wharton School is being charged with fraud. I don't know that the Wharton School is proud of that fact. And you know what? I'm interrupting too much. Obviously, he's going to get to some kind of a point.
Ivanka Trump went to the Wharton School.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, this is not the biggest thing.
It's not even a thing. It's not a thing. It's not, as things go, it's not a thing.
But $400,000? I understand that sometimes this happens. It shouldn't be happening. The government should not be paying people that kind of money.
Does anybody want to tell him what Trump spent on his impeachment?
If they don't have their own experts to do it, maybe it's not worth doing.
That is their expert. They have to bring in outsiders, so they can't just say, you gin this up with people in your department. I can't fight the entire government. We outsource this. Blah, blah, blah.
And the judge himself, wow, what a piece of work. And now that I've gone through this thing.
Gone through what? Oh, he read the thing.
I really think this guy is, well, deranged. And he was part of a conspiracy, really.
Yeah, really. Sort of a conspiracy, that started years ago with someone talking Trump into being a criminal so that they'd be on this trajectory. They were headed towards each other, like across the fields of time.
Hurt Trump politically before the election.
Well, that obviously I'm just saying there would have been a big monkey wrench thrown in that entire plan if at some point Trump had decided not to defraud people. You know what I mean? It would have made his job a lot harder.
Appeal, don't worry about it. We'll all be dead before that thing comes around in 5-10 years.
What? We're not going to be dead in 5-10 years. What the fuck's wrong with you? What the shit? I don't even know what he's talking about. That's some crazy shit. What the hell happened to my face just then? I don't know. Excuse me. This is, I push the wrong button sometimes. Back the fuck up. Oh, we're on the brink of World War III?
Before the election. The appeal, don't worry about it. We'll all be dead before that thing comes around in 5-10 years. Every little discrepancy.
Whoa. If we're all going to be dead within 5 to 10 years, I would say kind of time to liquidate your real estate holdings. You know what I mean? At this point, if you own anything but a volcano layer, you own a popcorn fart. Did somebody step on a duck?
Every little thing that might have been a thing he thought was fraud. He doesn't seem to understand that accounting mistakes, well, happen all the time. The government does them to the tune of many, many billions, sometimes trillions of dollars.
No, not sometimes trillions of dollars. And also, especially around the Pentagon, I would like to remind you that the Pentagon has a reason for not sharing shit. Dum-dum. And one of the things about storage are like, it's weird. How come they can't account for that $3 billion? Like, it's not that we can't. So we're not going to. Are you fucking stupid? If we can, if you know, they know. How fucking dumb are you? Nebraska state auditor says government accounting mistakes increasing after experts retire. Well, it's that fucking elites. You know what I mean? Experts. What do the experts know? I think if Greg Kelly's taught us anything that you can't trust experts. So good move, Nebraska. Uber is paying its New York City drivers tens of millions because of an accounting error that underpaid them for years. Yeah, this would be an example, fuckhead, of a case like Trump's where they got busted doing it. And then South Carolina comptroller acknowledges $3.5 billion accounting mistake in state cash balances. Yeah, the oversight, he didn't run off with it. And by the way, is there anything in any of these where they're like, no, we're not going to revise the accounting error at all. We're not going to even, we're just going to argue that $6.2 billion is actually $1 billion. Because that's how Trump, let's just go through how Trump would handle all of these. Trump would just say, there is no accounting error. That $6.2 billion is, the government spends that, and it never would have happened if he was in charge of it. Nebraska state auditor, government accounting mistakes increasing after experts retire because Trump knows all the best people and he could fix it in 24 hours. Also, you can't trust experts, and he knows more about the money than the experts do. He knows more about Nebraska than people who live in Nebraska do. Uber is paying New York City drivers tens of millions because of accounting. Nobody wants to live in New York anymore. That's why they're losing money, because New York's a cesspool and the crime is out of control, And that's how he would handle that. And then the South Carolina comptroller acknowledged $3.5 billion accounting mistake in state cash balances. Which, again, this is, that's just 2 Mar-a-Lagos. I don't even know why you're even worried about it. Shut the fuck up.
In the accounting industry, actually, they generally recognize that mistakes happen. And
right, and they admit to the mistakes and remedy the mistakes. And if it's found out that they, in trying to remedy the mistake, that it wasn't really a mistake and they were trying to claim it's a mistake when they did it on purpose, they get in trouble, which would probably be where the Uber thing happened. He does realize that Trump and the Trump organization never argued these were mistakes. They didn't accidentally say his apartment was 3 times bigger than it was. They didn't accidentally say that 40 Wall Street had 10 more fucking floors than it actually does.
And many of them, actually most of them, 82% are considered accidental.
Yeah. Yeah, those would be the ones that don't end up in court. Now talk about the ones that do. The 18%. That would be kind of important. That would bring us to, because, according to you, Trump is a very special guy. He's in the top 1% of the 18% that are actually stealing.
By academics, business academics, 82% are accidental. Anyway, back to the judge. He is convinced that
how many percentage that actually find their way into court are that? Also, where does that 82% number come from?
Anything that Donald Trump did, that if there's a discrepancy or if there's any room for debate, it must be fraud. Well, I think he's the fraud. And I actually think he's lying in this opinion. And I'm about
Well, it's very exciting. Get to it.
show you.
All right, show us where he's lying in the opinion. I think it's clear to anybody who didn't want to sit next to me on the bus.
Donald Trump is the part owner of 2 buildings, 555 California Street in San Francisco, seen in
cesspool. Sure. Does Trump only own? I mean, he likes to blame Democratic mayors. I'm starting to think that it's Trump buildings that are causing the rise in crime everywhere.
the first Dirty Harry movie, by the way, and 1296th Avenue. Donald Trump owns 30% through Vornado. Vornado is the company. Donald Trump has a 30% stake in that, all right?
In Vornado Trust. Okay, he has a 30% stake in the Vornado Trust. Now, who else has a stake in Vornado Trust? Who else?
Okay. Now,
yes, Sharknado Trust.
According to the judge, this is really bad that Donald Trump considers this cash. Every year, Donald Trump's interest in the Vornado partnership was included in the cash portion of his SFC, falsely indicating that it was at his disposal and that it was liquid, when it clearly and contractually was not. Now, look at that word. You see? Cash. Cash is in quotes. Remember that. Next, please. The Trump Foundation from the SFC's cash assets, okay? He's always talking about cash, just the word cash.
Yeah, cash. Fucking, we get it. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. I hear that train a-coming. It's coming around the bend, but Greg Kelly's on the bus. Sorry.
Well, I have the SFC. This is the
statement of financial condition.
Statement of financial condition for Donald Trump from the Mazars accounting firm. And by the way, they are a piece of work. I'll get to
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why you would trust it.
them later.
You mean because they dumped him because he was lying to them?
This is what Mazar said about the Vornado Trust. Page 1 of this thing. Take a look. Cash and cash equivalents.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Cash and cash equivalents are the same thing. A bond is a cash equivalent because you can sell it immediately. Real estate's not a cash equivalent. Your stake in a trust that owns property is not a cash equivalent. Fuck you. Cash and cash equivalent. That's why he puts it in quotes, you dumb motherfucker. Oh my God. He did it. He managed to do it. He did it. It's actually dumber than I thought. This is dumber. This is dumber than I thought it was going to be. He didn't say it was cash. He said it was a cash equivalent. All right, why do you think, what the fuck? What?
Escrow, reserve deposits, and prepaid expenses. The judge took that word cash by itself, but the column, the whole entry is for cash and cash equivalents.
Oh, fuck you. That's why cash is in quotes, because they are. This the word's gonna upset you. It's the number of it's the number of letters in it, and it's just an overwhelming. You start reading it, and your brain goes to horsies, and you get to Valve or Valent, and you're like Prince Valiant, and you get really confused, and then you back up and try it again, and it's cash equivalents. The equivalent of cash has to have the same mobility and liquidity as cash. That's what makes it a cash equivalent. You fucking dummy.
Cash. Green. I mean green cash.
Uh-huh. By the way, that's probably why Trump said it that way, because they knew this ruling was fucking them because of whatever. Greg, dude, please tell me this is one of the small things.
Later.
Also, the idea that he's, quote, lying, because your reasoning for your accusation that Judge Engoron is lying in a legal filing that has the weight of being able to extract $355 million from an individual. You think his lies are that cheap and other people didn't notice cash and cash equivalent are sort of the same thing, but not quite, but the same and not quite. You really think you caught him in that trap? I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out because the bus is not here, baby.
In this report by the...
God damn, this is dumb. Fuck me. I got to tell you, this is bringing me a weird kind of a joy right now. Shit.
Accounting firm Mazars. Funds in the amount of $8.4 have been escrowed pursuant to the terms of the loan in place as of June 30th, 2019. This asset is reflected in this financial statement under the caption escrow, reserve deposits, and prepaid expenses. Back to that initial column, cash and cash equivalents, escrow, reserve deposits, prepaid expenses.
No, that's two separate fucking things, dummy. Okay. Escrow, reserve deposits, and prepaid expenses are not the same thing. This is the money he has cash equivalents. These are separate category, dummy. These are two different things, and then there's subheadings. See the document? See the document where they have a heading, and then they have subheadings underneath it that explain the rest of it? These are two separate categories. God damn, this dude is dumb.
Really? You're going to try to ruin the guy over this?
No. You're going to try and save him this way, dum-dum? Greg. Fuck, man. You're an idiot. Someone please send this clip to Greg Kelly before he strikes again. Greg, this is fucking ridiculous. I hope you're watching this takedown clip of you on the fucking bus right now, and I hope the people over your shoulder, and because you're such an asshole, I guarantee you're not wearing headphones, so everybody else on the bus can hear me calling you what you are. You're an idiot. This is fucking dumb. Don't go after people who do this shit all the time as if you're like, ah. God damn. Oh. And I thought Jim Jordan was the dumbest guy of the show today. Nope.
I think, Judge, you should be ruined.
Ouch. Bam.
That was very, very misleading.
You can't read, can you, Greg? You have trouble understanding words, don't you? Is this your first day on Earth, Greg? Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to Earth. why don't you sit down and listen for a while before you make a bigger ass out of yourself? Because this is, you're getting ridiculous now.
What you did with the cash, right? That's a little game you're playing, isn't it?
I don't think he's listening, Greg. I mean, I know you're going to watch this later because you get all mad about it. And also stop doing this. Creeps us the fuck out. Your tongue jut is like the third worst in the business. I mean, you and Rudy Giuliani are always jockeying for second place.
These would be good questions for prosecutors, right? Attorneys, government attorneys. You ever notice that whenever they have the chance to talk to the media, they run away?
I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
Why Florida, sir? Why did you decide to bring...
These women and men are public servants of the very highest order, and it is a privilege to work alongside them. Thank you.
Why didn't you charge any of the other co-conspirators?
He's not, neither of them are running, metaphorically.
Are you worried this gets back?
The rule of law applies to all of us, equally, fairly, and justly. Thank you.
Why did they run away? Why, a big moment.
I'll tell you why, stupid. Come here. Because the question and answer part of what they do specifically is going to happen in a courtroom. In the case of Jack Smith, it's directly ongoing, and in the case of Letitia James, there's going to be an appeal. So if she makes prejudicial statements or answers a question about something else that isn't within the confines of legally what they know is safe boundaries to discuss or how to discuss this kind of thing, they might get into an area where they set up the appeal for the person that they just convicted, and that's or won against in the court of law. So they don't get involved in kind of tit for tat conversations about this. It's a bad idea. They're finishing their statement and then they're leaving. That's their official statement. They're officially saying it, and then it happens. Especially in the case of Jack Smith, who hasn't even gone to court yet. He's still in the process. They just have to announce certain things and be direct about it and going, yes, this came from us. This is the standard for it. We're standing by this, and then we'll see in court, essentially, is the statement. What he wants is them to stand there while somebody can ask them a pointed question, and they could say, shut the fuck up. And then they could go, no, you shut the fuck up. And then Jack Smith tries to strangle the guy, and then they use that as a reason to get the case thrown out. That's what he's hoping for.
You're indicting somebody. You just got some sort of conviction. You got a judge to agree with you. Don't you take some questions?
No.
No, because they can't handle questions.
Yeah, that's why they went on to be in court all the time, because there's no questions, legally binding questions that happen in court.
They don't have to worry about it really because the media stink these days.
Yeah, that's what it is. They stink. Well said.
But these are not good people.
No, they're not. They're not good people like you, Greg. You're a good person. You're a good guy, Greg. You're just dumb. That's the thing. It's not that you can't do good things. It's just you're stupid and you don't know how. You need somebody to teach you how to take all that goodness that's inside of you and it all over everyone.
These are not good people.
Okay, I take it back. You're a dick.
And what they did to Alan Weisselberg, the CFO at the Trump Organization.
Uh-huh.
From everything I know, this is a good guy. And
uh-huh. So they're not good. He is good. Okay. Mm-hmm. The guy who did Alan. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been privy to the conversation. Did Alan at any point go, "Hey Don, real quick before we end the meeting, maybe you shouldn't hang out with Jeffrey Epstein anymore"? I think it's just I'm getting a vibe.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Nothing. Except, he aided and abetted all the fraud in the company and helped them do it as basically a mob accountant forever.
And I think the prosecutors knew that too, but they were out to get him. This is Mark Pomerantz. The book that he wrote, the stuff that this guy admitted to. He's a former federal prosecutor who volunteered to help the Attorney General and the District Attorney in New York, his own free time, to help find a way to get Trump.
So I guess you can argue with success.
So this is his suspicion about Weisselberg, okay? Let's start with that. We suspected there were skeletons in Weisselberg's closet, if only because he had worked closely with Trump for decades.
Yeah, that would yeah, I could see where you would go there. Yeah.
How about that, huh? Is that evidentiary? Does that sound like blind justice?
It's in a book. It's in a book. It's not what they base the case on.
It's worse, a lot worse.
Well, it would have to, I guess.
The audio version of his book where he...
Well, that's probably worse. Does he cough through the whole thing? Did he wait until he had a head cold like I do and like, we suspected there were skeletons in Weisselberg's closet. If only because... Oh, God, this is never going to go. Can I get somebody get me some... I don't know any Dayquil or NyQuil. I don't know what time of day it is. You know what? Just get me some Quill. I don't care. Just the green stuff. Just... Oh, good. Anyways, if only because we had worked closely with Trump for decades.
About trying to get Trump.
Kerry and I also discussed calling Weisselberg's lawyer to fire a warning shot over his bow. We could say that we might be coming after Weisselberg without specifying what we had on him, which was very little at that point, in the hope that he would get scared and fall into our laps as a witness.
That's
a normal strategy in a situation like this. This might shock you, Greg, but law enforcement often will bluff their way through when they know someone's guilty and they know the person is involved in criminality, but they don't actually have the evidence about it. They got circumstantial evidence, but if they lead the person in the right direction, they might admit to it. Most killers admit after a short order of time that they've done something, even if the police don't have all the evidence. They don't have the gun. They don't have the, what's it called? There's a kind of gun. It's not just every gun. So it has to be in a certain state where it's like heat involved, where something in the barrel is interacting with the air. I'll remember it later.
Like KGB stuff, right?
Just like KGB stuff. Yeah, they sprayed Novichok in his fucking face.
That's not America. And the hope that he would get scared and fall into our laps as a witness.
That's how a lot of RICO cases work.
Shame on these people.
And it did.
People. This is Gestapo stuff.
No, it isn't. Gestapo stuff, they would just come into your house and have a glass of your milk and tell your daughters to stand outside while they asked you in English if the Jews were under the floorboards.
And it gets worse.
Well, again, it would kind of have to.
It really does. Look at...
I don't believe you, but try again.
Some of the nonsense these guys have pulled on American citizens.
Yes, it is gazpacho stuff.
I heard about an episode in which a federal prosecutor had invited a potential cooperator to meet and had set up an elaborate charade, creating a mock war room with file cabinets, supposedly, but not actually, filled with incriminating evidence. The prosecutor had gone so far as to stage a fake telephone call, pretending to have received a call from his boss about the potential cooperator, and responding with, "Yes, I'm with him now. Okay, but I think we should give him one last chance to help himself."
It worked, didn't it? Why is this surprising? Oy.
Well, that prosecutor should have been disbarred.
No. First of all, that wasn't a lawyer, a prosecutor in this particular case that I know of. Hold on. Did he say it was a prosecutor? He goes, yeah, the prosecutor. Okay. Detectives do this shit all the time, and it works.
As for Mark Pomerantz, so that's an interesting technique. I like to do it this way, maybe a little bit different. And what do they do? How are they a little bit different? They can't get anything on Weisselberg, so they try to...
He did go to jail, you know. This is early. This is before... Yeah, okay.
Look at Weisselberg's son. And then they try to look at Weisselberg's ex-wife, who doesn't like the son anymore.
Why is that?
Alan's son, Barry Weisselberg, also worked for the Trump Organization, and Barry and his wife, Jennifer, had gone through a bitter divorce. Oh boy, here it comes. Jennifer had been spilling her guts to the press about the Weisselberg family and their relationship with Trump, and she had met several times with the District Attorney of New York personnel prior to my arrival.
I see. So that's where some of the stuff you got that was uncorroborated came from, but she was like an awareness witness, but she didn't have corroborating evidence. You were going to have to get some of that from her, but you had all the information about the criminality. You just didn't have the direct. It wouldn't stand up in a court of law, but as far as furthering your investigation, it was valid.
And in those meetings, she had spoken about a free apartment that Trump had given her and Barry as a wedding present. And she had spoken generally about the relationship between Trump and Alan Weisselberg. And then they get excited. Aha! A free apartment. Did he file the appropriate paperwork between 2011 and 2017? These people are lowlifes.
They snuck into the apartment. They were sniffing her underwear. They ate all her chips. No, I'm kidding. They just looked at the tax documents and realized that he'd given it to them in lieu of pay.
Now, let me go to the accounting firm Mazars. Is that what they call themselves? Mazars? They famously dumped Trump as a
Yeah, I think that was a smart
client.
But, I mean, they're new to the whole accounting thing. They don't have a lot of big clients, so they probably just didn't know what they were getting themselves into, Greg. They probably just left Trump because they were like, I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of things. We should probably just, I mean, I know we could make a lot of money with him, and he's on the up and up, but it would just look bad for us guys. I think so. What do you think? I mean, we've only been in business a couple years.
The word was they were, oh gosh, we had no idea they were so sloppy with the paperwork. Now, it looks like they were intimidated and scared by the general culture, the climate, especially post-January 6th.
Oh, woke. They went woke and went broke. That's what it was.
You may remember, I mean, Trump politically seemed to be dead meat, right? Except if you watch this show, I knew everything was going to work out.
You mean like the election?
Remember the Trump signs coming down early in the administration, right?
Yeah, they didn't go back up, dum-dum.
Everywhere there was Trump, people wanted them taken down.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Greg, if I may, let's see. Hard time selling. Probably should be something along those lines. Greg, this is 4 days ago. Greg, this is 4 days ago. 4 days. Stupid. Trump-branded condos sell for less than properties that remove his name, says report. Several court judgments have cost former President Donald Trump hundreds of millions of dollars, while his brand is costing New York City condo owners, a report suggests. The 2024 GOP frontrunner has ordered to pay a hefty fine, blah, blah, blah. Units in Trump-branded properties across Manhattan have declined in value since he was elected president in 2016. Did you spot that? Did you, Greg? You got that, man? Okay. A building that perhaps encapsulates a luxurious lifestyle that Mr. Trump was once synonymous with, until everybody knew what he smelled like. Trump Tower on 5th Avenue, and where Mr. Trump announced his 2016 bid to run on the Golden Gate, blah, blah, blah. Average price per square foot of his condos has fallen 49% since 2013. Some formerly Trump-branded buildings, where residents have opted to have the gold logo removed, have been spared and even saw a rise in value. This analysis cleanly identifies that the Trump brand is it is the Trump brand that is responsible for the value deterioration. But I'm sure you saw that coming, Greg. Come on, man. That was your... Right? Come on.
So after January 6th, of course, Twitter and Facebook, it's closed to Donald Trump. Everything seems closed to Donald Trump. Corporate America turns their back on him.
How dare they? How dare they?
Hey, something else in this trial from last week that ended. The penalty is odd. Yeah, you heard about the $450 million, but it's a 3-year ban from running companies in New York. It's not a lot of time. It's interesting, right? The $450 million and only 3 years.
It's probation, dummy. It's a 3-year ban on running companies during that time where they work all the shit out, and if they discover more criminality in there, it extends it further. He's got people who he has to hire somebody to run his company for him, and then they've got to go through all the books and that kind of stuff to make sure everything's on the up and up, which during that time, during 3 years, that gives them enough time to look into the shit and go, oh, excuse me. He was way worse than we thought.
Is this like a Freudian slip in sentencing? They realize that this is no big deal. How about the Suns? They only got 2 years, a 2-year ban, a 400.
Well, in all fairness, they're not going to. Nobody is ever going to ask them to run any other company except a Trump organization, and even still,
$150 million fine and 2-year something. It's literally not adding up. When it's really serious, Michael Milken, who remembers the financier, right? Great big fine and a lifetime ban. He had a lifetime ban from the securities industry. It goes.
Yeah. Trump's not in the real estate business anymore. And his company is just a branding company. So he's not going to be able to buy and sell real estate. He never had the money to do it anyways. He's always been a front for somebody else. The recategorization of his LLCs is going to start to unravel. That's going to be the big story, by the way. Over the next year, and after he loses the election, which he's going to, they're going to start breaking into who are his silent partners in all of these little LLCs, because the person who's the training wheels on the Trump organization is going to start looking into this shit and going, holy fuck, look at all this Russian and Chinese money. Look at Romanian money. Look, all the places they said were coming from, that Joe Biden was getting money from, it was all projection. Look at this. All of his partners, he was just a front for all this fucking mobster money.
It's on like this. Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, remember her? She's in jail right now. A 90-year ban from the federal health programs for what she did. Shkreli, the farmer bro, lifetime ban from the pharmaceutical industry, order to pay $64 million.
Yeah, but here's the thing. First of all, the Trump organization is a private company. These are all people who ran either public companies or companies with other direct investors. That's why. Milken especially was taking other people's money and doing shit with it. Nobody trusts Trump anyways, so that's not the big fear. He's a brand. His brand is the problem, and there's no real way to make that go away. He'll be able to call himself something else in another couple of years. All these guys, though, were borrowing other people's money specifically and cheating people out of it. And in this specifically, beyond Shkreli, like Elizabeth Holmes created a fake medical device that could have cost people their lives.
Pete Rose, lifetime ban from baseball.
Yeah, but they always do that with baseball and gambling.
They actually understand.
Also, baseball is not it's not a city-based or a state or a federal thing. It's an organization. They can fucking tell you to fuck off however they want.
Very deep in.
They could literally set up so he's got a lifetime ban from baseball except on Wednesdays. He's allowed to bet every Wednesday, but no other days for the rest of his life.
Side that they don't have the goods on Trump. All right, and that judge, that strange judge. What was he thinking, huh? What's going to come out on this?
Your argument is that he was too lenient on Trump?
Guy. How is this all going to play out? I don't know exactly, but it's going to be spectacular. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do. Everybody, you guys trust him, right? I mean, what's not to like? By the way, you're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide, and I think that shows taste and breeding on your part. Oops, it's this guy. Hi, chat room. You had to leave. What did you miss? Just some of Greg Kelly's most brilliant commentary. I mean, I'm impressed. How can you not? Is this the yeah? Okay, so let's end on this because I mean I'm over time. By the way, for those of you who don't know, the Thursday show starts later than other shows, and I'm going a little bit long right now. But I just want to show you the top end of this next video because this is another Newsmax host. Where is he? There we go. This is Eric Botox, and Eric Botox has a show. I'm kidding. It's not Botox. I think he gets injections of marzipan into his face. But he has Comer on to talk about the James Biden testimony, and we haven't heard anything directly about what was said and the like. And I would love. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm gonna read the transcript. But do I really even need to? Won't they tell me everything?
Kentucky
I need to know?
Congressman James Comer is here to fill.
Oh yeah, he's. You mean the excuse me. The Lucy's football Kentucky Congress.
Listen on the very latest from today's
The very latest.
closed door testimony. Chairman, good to have you. Day of. We're
So exciting. Tell me it's gonna happen.
all waiting.
We're all waiting. Boom. Bring it. Bam. Bing. This is we've been, all the other stuff's been a big fucking letdown, but this.
You got Jim Biden in the seat. What did he tell you? And just tell us about his demeanor.
Yeah, obviously the facts aren't not gonna help us. But was he sweating squirrely? Did he turn the table over? Was he drinking a lot of water? Was he sitting there with a cigarette going, I know that. Of course I know that. I know that. Why wouldn't I know that? Of course I know that. I know that.
Well, of all the people that I've watched be interviewed,
all the people that I've watched be interviewed. Aren't you the chairman of the committee? You don't participate in this? Or was he not there again?
I can say with confidence he was the least believable of them all.
Well, I think that has more to do with, I don't know, does it match up with, you have files, you can check what he says against the files, so your feelings about him being the least believable really say more about you, but whatever. Anyways.
To say that, he's 75 years old and his brother's his best friend and he's never once in his entire life discussed business with his brother, that's a little hard to believe.
Yeah, believe me, business is good. I'm doing all right. Or knowing full well that your brother is a senator or a vice president or a congressperson during that time and cannot discuss those things makes it a lot easier to put blinders, or corral those, put a bit in the mouth of those conversations.
Another thing that Jim Biden said that was hard.
And I seriously, we should address this because it's kind of an important thing. During the entire time that James Biden has been building his own business, whatever he does, Biden has been a congressperson, a senator, and vice president. All during that time, he was never out of office during that period of time until 2017. 2018 was the window where he was not running for president or not planning on running for president, and he was no longer in office. It was a very small window. This seems to be the only time that they, where they're saying he was involved in any of it. And even still, then it was like, hi, guys. I don't know, maybe. Hi, good, nice to meet you. Have fun. And then he would fuck off. He had other shit to do. But insofar as his brother knows that for ethics reasons, for business reasons, if it's going to have a future in politics, if his brother's going to keep getting elected to these positions, maybe he thought in his head, my brother's going to be president one day, and therefore I'll wait till then to try and get some influence from him. Maybe that's the idea. But at least during that portion, during that period of time, if any of you had a relative who was in the House or the Senate or whatever, you would know that ethically they can't discuss these things with you. You would know that they were off limits. And if your relative said, I can't talk about that kind of shit, man, it's the ethics rules. And it might be new for a while. Like, oh, that's weird. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I just won't, but things are good. Like, yeah, you can say that. That's fine. But I don't need to know, what you're engaged in or where you're investing, none of that shit. I don't need to hear any of that shit. Just let me know you're all right. I can loan you money if you're broke, if I have any, but I can't talk to you about the rest of it. Is that cool? Cool. There are such there's such a distinct corral on what you can and can't talk about that if you live in that situation, it's not hard. It's like, being, vegan or carnivore or something like that, where your family knows it and that's the conversation and you leave it there. Yeah, it's simple. Unless you're Comer Pyle.
Hard to believe. He said he had no idea CEFC had anything to do with China. I mean, no one would believe that. That's ridiculous.
Also, I don't think he was directly involved in the CEFC deal. And I think by the way, what do you think we're going to find out in the transcript that when Hunter was working with it until now, he didn't know that it was part of it because he wasn't working on the CEFC deal specifically.
Isn't the first C in the CEFC China?
Yeah, China. And, he said it was a privately owned company, but he didn't know who the owners were. And, we asked, what exactly did...
I'll tell you who the owner was. You want to know? I mean, I can help you out. I'm glad to. Hold on. His a guy named Yi Jianming. That's the guy. Yi Jianming courted the Biden family and networked with former United States officials. Today, his empire is crashing down in court. There he is. That's him. That's Yi Jianming. That's the Chinese oil tycoon. Let's see. We're going to try to find oil fields in Syria. He was doing all kinds of stuff. He's in Chinese custody and is under investigation for unspecified crimes because he was involved in corruption, because he didn't make good on the deals that he was sent over to do that. Let's see. Okay, so we'll go over to, that's Yi Jianming. You know who he is. And then let me find, if I can find the, let's see, copy and paste. Well, that's it. Explosive dinner with Yi. Trump World Tower. Is it Trump World Tower? I think is the name of it. Yeah. This guy. This is the guy. The rise and fall of Chinese billionaire Yi Jianming, who built a $44 billion house of cards. That's what he was doing. He was trying to create these deals. Now, just for the record, it is my opinion, and I'm not alone in this, but it's a big. I personally am all in on it, where other people might have this feeling that he absolutely was working for the Chinese government, and as many of these guys are, and this whole thing about him being in trouble for corruption or any of that other stuff is horse shit. It was either, if they arrested him for being unsuccessful in the espionage or the courting of business leaders in the world that he was supposed to do because he was unable to get shit done to the level that he had promised or something like that, or they just pretend and give him a name change and then set him loose someplace else because he's effectively a financial spy. There is a, where is it? 2018, part of mainland China, revenue grew by 25%. September 2017, CFC China Energy announced it was buying a 14% stake in Rosneft. The $9 billion deal was CFC's biggest deal 2 months later. Yi's empire began to fall apart. FBI agents arrested Patrick Ho Chi Ping, who ran Yi's NGO. Ho Chi Ping was charged with money laundering and violating the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. He reportedly offered $3 million in bribes to Idris Deby, the president of Chad. This is all part of the Belt and Road Initiative, by the way. CFC distanced himself. Days after the explosive report, Yi was arrested. He's not been seen since. He's just fucking gone. Let's see if we can find. I know it's in here somewhere because he owned. There's something about him even had that makes sense. Travel Airline Group, stake in this. Oldest football club. I'll find it. Don't worry. Court playing out. Bought Sylvia's stake in this. In a brewery. What was this Chinese company? Zeman is a China-friendly thing. Hold on, we'll find it. Don't worry. You reportedly started out working for the Forest Police and Historians. Okay, moved to Shanghai. Because his status at UN, many wonder about a private energy company, NGO, at a union. He had an apartment right across from the UN in Trump World Tower. That's what I'm looking for. Downfall of Yi comes in midst of crackdown in China on debt-ridden private companies. Yi is not the first high-profile wealthy Chinese. Yeah, they went after Fan Bingbing. She's gone too. Fucking, they just killed and. Is that the? Yeah, I guess. Hold on. This is gonna drive me crazy. 1 second. Including office space in central Hong Kong and Trump. By 2018, it was widely. Okay, this is the CNN article. I'm going to find the article. You just hang in there. Opportunity shortly after that. There we go. Stephen Platt. We know this. He's no Prince. 2016. Party. We're getting there. Almost. Hold on. We're getting there. I'm so close. It's going to annoy you. I know. I'm sorry. But we got to do this. Okay. Belton Road. He relocated. Fujian. He's NGO. Yeah. Excuse me. This is annoying me. God damn it. We're going to find it together. It's going to drive me crazy. So, backing up. In March, Czech government sent a delegation to Beijing to find out where Yi had gone because he had deals there. He just fucking vanished. Hey, Trump World Tower. Yi Jianming bought a 2-bedroom apartment overlooking the United Nations. There you go. That's just one reference to it. Once a big buyer, CFC now a big seller. Its property is under the hammer with Chinese state-owned. It was in 2018, while Trump was in office, I think, that he bought the thing. I'm going to find that directly. It's going to drive me fucking crazy. And he's tied to Patrick Ho and all these guys. There you go. Yi's empire began to crumble in 2017. Where the fucker? Caesar is this is all about him and the Belt and Road Initiative. These are, look, all the CEFC locations. This is where they were trying to do shit. They were doing business everywhere. This was, and by the way, this was trying to secure energy for China. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to buy up energy companies so that they could single them out and just sell oil and gas to themselves at a lower rate than everybody else. A CFC charity is located 100 meters away from the CFC HQ compound as the power supply has been cut. Blah, blah, blah. There's Fujian, where he's originally from. Anyways, you guys saw it. Trump World Tower, that's where he had his place. That's the picture. That's the building where he had his place is right this place. There you go. Trump World Tower, right across from there. He owned a $5 million apartment in this tower right there that, insofar as anyone knows, he never set foot in. That's the head of CFC.
Both Jim and Hunter do to earn the millions of dollars that they earned from CEFC.
Okay. CEFC was trying to buy a natural gas processing plant in the United States. The Bidens insisted they set up a U.S. subsidiary to purchase it and hold it so that it would be under SEC rules and not under Chinese, IPO rules, which are bullshit, or stock market rules over there. It's just garbage. So they're like, yeah, we'll do business with you, but you got to set up something in the States that we can represent that thing, but we can't represent a Chinese company directly that doesn't have a subsidiary in the United States, and the deal never happened. And so they held on to the fuck you money. That's what it was. It wasn't so much the money that they made that's striking. It's the money that, they would have made had the Chinese followed through and actually set it up. Yeah.
And he said that
was in 2020. Thank you.
They were always out.
That picture is from 2020. That article's from 2020.
Scouting around trying to find them investments. And then the next obvious question, well, did you find them any investments? No.
Yeah.
So, there
yeah, they did. Oh, God. CFC under Biden natural gas. Inside Hunter Biden's multi-million-dollar deals with the Chinese energy company. That's the thing, okay. Deal was years in the making. The culmination of forging contacts, hosting dinners, flights to and from China. But on August 2nd, 2017, signatures were quickly affixed. One from Hunter Biden, the other from Chinese executive Gong Wendong, or Dong Gongwen, which is... within days, a new Cathay bank account was created. Within a week, millions of dollars started to change hands. Within a year, it would all begin to collapse. While many aspects of Hunter's financial arrangement with CFC China Energy have been previously reported and were included in a Republican-led Senate report from 2020, a Washington Post review confirmed many of the key details and found additional documents showing Biden family interactions with Chinese executives. Over the course of 14 months, the Chinese energy conglomerate and its executives paid $4.8 million to entities controlled by Hunter Biden and his uncle, according to government records, court documents, and newly disclosed bank statements, as well as emails containing a copy of a laptop hard drive that purportedly once belonged to Hunter Biden. Okay, first of all, it's a hard drive, yes. Whether it was a laptop hard drive, a hard drive purportedly from a laptop that once belonged to Hunter Biden. It's just the structure of that sentence means something because you're establishing a fact, not an evidence. The Post did not find evidence that Joe Biden personally benefited from or knew details about the transactions with CEFC. They looked at all the stuff. But the new documents, which include a signed copy of a $1 million legal retainer, that's the way you do for legal services, for creating the contracts and the execution of the agreements and all that kind of stuff. That would be the legal retainer. Emails related to wire transfers and $3.8 million in consulting fees that are confirmed in new bank accounts and agreements signed by Hunter Biden illustrate the ways in which the family profited from relationships built over Joe Biden's decades in public service. No, this is how the Chinese were acting out at that point in time. Hunter Biden's overseas work has been the subject of heightened scrutiny, blah, blah, blah. CFC deal became one of the most lucrative, if short-lived, foreign ventures Hunter Biden is known to have pursued. The Post reviews draws in part on an analysis of a copy that said to be a hard drive of a laptop computer that, damn it, this like the player dropped off at a Delaware repair shop and never came to collect. The laptop was turned over to the FBI in December 2019, according to documents reviewed by the Post, and a copy of the drive was obtained by Rudy Giuliani and other advisors to then President Donald Trump a few months before the 2020 election. No, they got it in 2019. They released it, stuff from it around October. That's not the same thing of, they didn't obtain it a few months. A few months is what? 16 months? All right. Plea asked your strategy for a copy of the data to be reviewed before the election, but the requests were rebuffed or ignored because they didn't want you to look at it, and because once you check it out, it's bullshit. And in 2021, a copy was provided by Jack Maxey. They went through it and Post explored the chain of custody as well as findings and data in a separate story, which was bullshit. I went through that whole thing. Biden aides and some of the former U.S. intelligence voiced concern that the device may have been manipulated by Russia to interfere with the campaign. Yes, we know this. It's a potential energy contract. Projects Hunter Biden discussed with CFC never came to fruition. Nonetheless, accounts linked to Hunter Biden received $3.8 million in payments for a $40 million deal, which was a 10% stakehold to make the process go forward in good faith. That's what CEFC was doing all over the place. They will start this deal. We'll give you 10%. We'll put it in an account. If it doesn't go through, you keep the 10%. That's usually how it works. They received an additional $1 million retainer, which is the same as the $1 million retainer, but they use the word additional, which is fucking up. Issued as a part of agreement to represent Patrick Ho, a CEFC official who would later be charged in the United States in connection with a multi-million-dollar scheme to bribe leaders from Chad and Uganda. The retainer agreement in a newly uncovered document contains the signature of both Hunter and Ho, who was later convicted and sentenced to 3 years in prison. That's the part, by the way, in the some of the text messages where they come out where Hunter's like, this guy's a fucking spy. Holy shit. When they started finding out who he really was.
There was no concern that he took millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party, supposedly to help them find investments, but then they never found any investments. There was no concern that they would.
Let's see. Between the Serbian politics, 110, and dynamic. I'll find it. We've covered it before. I just need
to get.
I need to build on my file of Comer
their
bullshit.
Money back or anything else. Then we asked him about the.
Also, you don't get your money back. You don't. That's what the holding money is for.
The loans he had from all these shady individuals, shady Ukrainian Americans, shady lawyers that have been disbarred and convicted of bribery, shady loans from all these people that are in constant trouble. That he's never paid
Americans
back, and he said, "Well, it's my
he has.
It's my intention to pay him back."
Oh, he means the dude who helped him with pay his tax bill.
I mean, he's 75 years old.
This is James.
He's had some of these loans for 9 years. I mean, it was preposterous. Some of the things that Jim Biden testified to in that transcribed interview.
Chairman, what about those checks that Jim wrote to Joe Biden? Did you ask him about that? What was his
Oh, yes. By the way, I think he let slip in this where the money came from. So there was Joe didn't loan James Biden directly. They have a trust that the family has. And Jim basically took some money out of the trust and paid Joe back to put it back in the trust is essentially how that worked out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think they start talking about it, and then they bail out.
He said his brother,
because I think I saw a piece of this part of it online,
loaned him money, and we were like, well, can we see where Joe Biden actually provided a check or some form of payment to you? And he said, no, it was through this lawyer trust account.
So wait, hold on.
Why interrupt him? Why would you interrupt him just then? He's getting to the point of how the money got to him. How did he get the money?
So the guy, James Biden, who is taking $600,000 from America, taking millions from Chinese companies and Ukrainian companies, needs to borrow money from the guy who's never made more than $174,000 a year as a.
What the fuck are you talking about? At this point, Biden he's a millionaire. He's worth $8 million, but he's which is like the second poorest president in modern history, right after Jimmy. Well, no, Jimmy Carter had more because he had to put his peanut farm in a trust and all that kind of stuff, right? No, he sold a book. He had money left over from that. That's why they set up the trust.
As a senator,
no, he was vice president. This is after, and he's a millionaire now because of his book.
He needed to borrow the senator's money and
$250,000.
You're just going to pretend 8 years didn't exist?
How does that add up? And if
it doesn't, dummy, because you are not solving for X. You are removing giant chunks of the conversation and then pretending there's like a parentheses in this equation on the giant chalkboard that you're just like, fuck that. Just question mark.
Doesn't add up. How do you?
Because you're not doing the math.
How do you make that a smoking gun?
Right, yeah. How did he borrow money that Joe never had?
Well, obviously.
How did he borrow money that was in a trust that Joe never started or was a part of?
There is no loan. There's a trust account.
Right, I would agree. There was no direct loan. It looks like James took money out of the trust for his own usage and paid it back to Joe because it was from his part. That's what it looks like. It wasn't. He didn't call him up and say, "Hey, can I do this?" He was just taking money out of the trust, and then he's like, "I got to pay this back. Here, can you?" There you go.
In a law firm that created a lot of the shell companies that Hunter has. They did all the LLCs that Jim Biden had, and they did the president's LLC, Shamrock. So this
Shamrock. You mean the one that you know the name of, or the three of Hunters that you know the name of? I thought he had 20. Doesn't Joe have like 20 shell companies? I mean, I know Trump has 1,500.
Law firm has lots of different LLCs and corporate accounts.
It has 3.
Did the money that came from the law firm, did it come from a corporate account? Did it come from Joe Biden? I mean, that shouldn't be hard to prove. But at the end of the day, one thing that is indisputable is the money that Jim paid Joe came from an influence peddling scheme.
It did? Is AmeriCorps around today because Joe Biden intervened on their behalf and helped them get business?
From AmeriCorps Health, which is
a Chinese company, obviously. AmeriCorps Health, China money. It's clearly Chinese,
company,
right?
He defrauded.
James defrauded an American company. How could he defraud them if he's getting money from them to give to his brother for influence to help them out? Why would they be suing him? They got the influence, right? He helped, right? Didn't Joe help them out? He helped them get around some regulations or get them a sweet contract or something like that?
Yep. That's in the bankruptcy documentation.
Wait, why did they declare bankruptcy? I thought they were peddled some influence.
That was in the Politico article. There's no question.
Really? You're going to quote Politico? Politico. Really?
Jim Biden defrauded AmeriCorps Health.
By what? Selling access to his brother, who was no longer vice president, to get them benefits they never got because that influence was never used. I'm serious. That's the case. That's what he's fucking talking about. AmeriCorps collapsed because they were trying to find their way into, business ventures overseas and the like. And so they were hiring people to try, as effectively lobbyists or people to get them in. And James Biden had done some shit in Iraq at one point. And so they were like, okay, he'll get us like these foreign contracts. That never fucking happened. He didn't deliver. Now, the idea, though, that's why they think they were defrauded. Not because they were promised access to Joe and they didn't get it, or they were promised access to Joe and they did get it and it didn't amount to shit. That's not what they're suing him about. That's not in the bankruptcy filings. That's just nonsense. But what the case he's making is that AmeriCorps paid James Biden for access to Joe, and in their bankruptcy filing, because they failed, they are complaining that James Biden never delivered on access, on influence that he was supposed to have. What this actually, oh God.
Which defrauded a lot of people in Kentucky, in a little town called Pineville, Kentucky.
And that's your job.
And, at the end of the day, it's just amazing to see the lack of any type of shame by the president's brother or any type of concern from the Democrats asking the question.
Take a listen to your fellow congressman from Democrat from New York, Dan Goldman, who says you're.
Oh, we like Dan. We like Dan Goldman. Good dude.
I guess a puppet of Putin. Listen.
Not only is there no evidence of any wrongdoing by President Biden, but
fact check true.
It now appears as if the House Republican majority is being used by Russia to interfere in the 2024 election on behalf of Donald Trump. If they continue with this investigation, they are simply doing the work of Vladimir Putin to help Donald Trump win an election in November. That's where we are. It tells you the real danger that our Congress is in right now, having been held captive by Donald Trump and now operating at the behest of Russian intelligence and Vladimir Putin.
Said that with a straight face. So
yeah,
frozen face, but a straight.
Wait. Sorry, Eric Botox is making a comment about Dan Goldman's face being frozen somehow. The man who gets marzipan injections into his cheeks and chin on the regular. The only guy with more lip filler in his face than Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Great face, nonetheless.
They're going to play the Russia card again. Every time they get backed into a corner.
Excuse me. Every time they get backed into a corner. They're not backed into a corner. You're backed into a corner, dummy.
They start playing the Russia card, and that's
that again. How are they backed into a corner? I'm dead serious. Explain to me how James Biden testifying and giving you fucking nothing has Dan Goldman backed into a corner. Maybe, just maybe, they're aware of the facts and they're fucking disgusted. That's a possibility. I'm just going to float that.
What Dan Goldman's done, that's what Jamie Raskin's done. They
What was that little glitch? The fuck was that? Was there an edit in there somewhere? The shit?
Playing the Russia card, and that's what Dan Goldman's done. That's what Jamie Raskin's done. Was
that a flash? Suddenly, I must kill Jamie Raskin. Subliminal messaging.
They talk about the Steele dossier and all that. At the end of the day, with respect to the FBI informant that Christopher Wray told Jamie Raskin, me, Charles Grassley, Jim Jordan, was one of their most trusted, highest paid informants with the Bureau for over a decade.
Uh-huh. Was he winking? Was he doing this while he said that?
At the end of the day, he wasn't an important part of this investigation because I didn't even know who he was. All I knew.
Well, nobody did. That was the point.
There was a 1023 that alleged bribery.
No, Hal, you must kill Norberg. Right.
My investigation's about all the money the Bidens have
the China money
taken from China, from Romania, from Kazakhstan,
for nothing in return.
That's right, for nothing in return. I appreciate Eric Botox admitting that that they have gotten nothing. I mean, it doesn't. Anybody who looks at the state of the Chinese economy and thinks that in the last 3 years Biden has been secretly helping them is a fucking lunatic.
Nothing
This
in
guy
return.
had absolutely nothing to do with
it's
it. We
crazy.
got a tip. We investigated. We couldn't figure out who it was.
Sharon,
I don't know what that edit was. They just kind of blew. I guess they blew off whatever the fuck the rest he was saying.
James Comer, really good having you. I think we're going to get you back next week after
Yeah, come back after Hunter Biden talks, and you got even less to go on.
you do the same thing to Hunter Biden. This should be
What? What? Do the same thing? What? Let him slap you in the face with his dick?
very interesting stuff. Thank you. Appreciate your time, Chair.
It is interesting. It is interesting. All right, that's the extent of the fight for today, and I want to thank you guys for being with me. I'm gonna go rest my voice and my lungs because I've been coughing like an idiot over the last little bit. I just so you know, for those that are worried, I am certainly run down. I certainly have some sort of a head cold thing going on, mainly from my travels and the like. But don't worry about me. I'm a super healer. I will be just fine. But I am gonna rest, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna do the show. And then I'm going to get in my fucking car and drive to L.A. And so there may not be an afternoon show tomorrow. Depends on when I arrive. Depends on traffic. But for our patrons, there will be a Flapper show tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. our time, and you can watch it whenever. And I will post the link on the Patreon for everybody who watches there for your enjoyment and to show my appreciation for all the support you guys make. Thank you for the... I'm sorry I didn't get to keep up with any like super chats and that kind of stuff today. At some point, I'm gonna have a system set up where I can have a besides the credits at the end, I'll see Hal needs a private jet. No, I'm fine with a prop plane. I would love just a Cirrus. That'd be fine. Just got to have a good strong motor that can pull out of a turn. I don't want to get caught in a spin like some dumbass dentist who's a part-time pilot. That's my thing. But anyways, I'm gonna go rest up, and then I will see you guys tomorrow morning. And then, like I said, I'm gonna drive out then, and I'll probably do a shorter show if one at all. I'll let you guys know as best I can, depending on the travel part of it. And then I'm going to do my show, and then like a dickhead, turn right around and drive back because that's what you do when you're fighting off a cold. I am a pilot, yes. I haven't gotten my license yet, but I've been training for quite a while, and I have a new school here in Vegas, if I ever get a chance to go there. God damn it. I'm so busy. I'm a busy guy. I'm busy. Not with anything big. It's just that I'm constantly out looking for the kidney. Takes up a lot of my time. I'm going to be fine. I don't need to be worried. Everything's going to be just fine.